Yo, Emlixel, I am not gonna get into a pissing match about firearms because I would lose. Your Friday nights are amazing, Cage. You know, man, honestly, I I would have pushed the stream off till tomorrow. Ooh, I look like crap. Oh man, I'm pale. Whew. I need a haircut and I need some time out in the sun. Hang on a second. Well, I'll take it back. I need the sun to actually come out. So I'm gonna mow the yard in the morning for the first time in probably, well, since we moved in back in October. But it's supposed to rain next week, so right now I gotta make hay while the sun shines. And yeah, no, it's one of those things where I was planning on just pushing off the stream and doing it tomorrow night, but I'm having some kids, my friends' kids sleeping over. And I'm like, well, I'm not getting anything done this weekend. Plus, my daughter has another softball game tomorrow night. My oldest kid starts his season on Sunday, and he's got double headers basically every. My son is going to be playing like 20 or 22 games and all double headers, and we have to travel like to different cities and shit. So, do indeed look like crap. He's a zombie. Oh man. That's terrible. Yeah, a World War II Stein MK2 that feels like it was used in the war for like a midget or a hobbit. Well, you got to remember, people were smaller back then. I mean, even going back to like the 1930s and 40s, the average height of a guy was like what, 5'7", 5'8", maybe at the tallest. I mean, yeah. I'm supposed to be the resident vampire here? No, man. I will be getting more sun this year than I've ever gotten before because this year I actually have to do yard work. Whereas like last year and the year before and the year before and the year before, and basically any year that I didn't have to be out much in the summertime, I don't get a whole lot of sun because I work indoors primarily. So no, I'll be getting some sun on my buns this year for sure. Get that farmer tan going on. No, so my kids, we had some drama yesterday because my oldest son has been umpiring. So my daughter and her twin brother, they both won their first team games yesterday. So we had a game at 5 and a game at 7. We got home at like 9:30. It's very long days, very long evenings. It's going to make life hell for the next 3 months. And my oldest son umpired both games. The first one, the baseball game, was fine. He did a decent job, no drama there. But the second game he umpired, the coach on the opposing team, he was on my team last year as a coach, and he's a bit intense, right? He's like an airline pilot. And my God, that man and the entire team, they were bitching and complaining about my son's umpiring. The girls, I mean, like 10-year-old girls out on the field, oh, he sucks. Yeah, that was a strike. And I'm talking like, I was like, all right, I'm about ready to start ejecting some players, you know? Dude, I would mow in a Speedo if I owned a Speedo, not gonna lie. Puts the lotion on its skin. Yeah, so it was a long, stressful, exhausting first day of baseball and softball, and we haven't even gotten going because my oldest kid's team doesn't even play till Sunday, and I'm supposed to be in the dugout helping his team because they don't have enough coaches to be in the dugout, and those are all 13-year-old boys. I'm like, God, just I can't do it, man. Oh, Mari, no, that's typical entitled, spoiled, rotten kids who think that they know everything. Honestly, it's a very different culture. I think most Western cultures from like Japan. Over here, there's not as much respect for authority. So even if it's another kid umpiring, the children are going to be very, very rude, very much like, oh, he's terrible. Oh, he's every call is wrong. He's going to ruin the game for us and all that shit. Yeah. Yeah, well, it's supposed to be Mari. It's supposed to be about sportsmanship, but most American kids are not taught well. And I live in a very yuppie area. And so a lot of people that are over here, their kids are, I mean, look, the head coach is a pilot. The kids on the team, their parents are attorneys and doctors. And, they have cushy, very, very, very well-paying jobs. And they go on vacation to Europe and Italy and all this other crap. And it's like, yeah, this is just the lifestyle that they are used to. And a ballistic ball blaster mowing the lawn with a trucker hat and a beer. I don't so much do trucker hats. I think I have one trucker hat, and it's from a local gun store over here. Other than that, I typically just wear like the closed ball cap on the back. Yeah, Cage. I mean, there are some decent people, and they're not all like insufferable and all that. But it's really it's a very interesting dynamic over here. So, basically, the topics for tonight are flexible, kind of like I used to be before I hurt my back. And so, what we're gonna do is we're gonna start going through some of the stuff that I've pulled out to talk about, and we can always jump around to other stuff if there's anything that's more interesting to you guys. I don't mind. Basically, because I knew I couldn't stream tomorrow night, I figured we had to get this done tonight. So I took about 20 minutes to get this going, and that's why we're here. I didn't mention they slathered butter for the goal. Dude, you're making me think of that old episode of Seinfeld when was it Kramer that's sun tanning with butter and he gets all crispy and somebody else I think it's Newman tries to eat him. Man, that was such a stupid show. I mean, I get it. There were funny moments, but Seinfeld was something else, guys. That show was nuts. What the hell was that? You covered about you could make more money being flexible. Those corn. It almost looks like actual words, man. That's crazy. There's words in there. You more money being flex those corners. I don't know, something, man. Did find a pretty hefty bug in CD. Completely broken teleport pad. You always preferred Third Rock from the Sun. You know, Blithian, I didn't watch much Third Rock from the Sun, but I probably would find it hilarious now. Make more emojis? I will try to see about that. That's actually something that's going to be a lot easier. Don't tell all the wokies this, but now that we have AI, I don't have to pay somebody to make like little emojis anymore. I can just do that myself. Oh, man. Completely broken teleport pad. When you attempt to step on it, you get stuck in place with no way to move off without teleporting. So, DB, did you see that apparently, I'm sure you've experienced this because you've played for like 50 hours in that game. If you are on the teleportation device and you teleport to another like teleportation pad, it teleports you faster than if you teleport from a random spot to a teleportation pad. Screenshot of my face. Oh, man. I don't like doing... Okay, there are those YouTubers who do like the weird soy face and the surprised, shocked face thumbnails. Not for me. So it's near instant. Okay. You made more money being flexible in those corners. Yeah, that's what it looked like to me. All right. So yeah, that's a weird thing. That's why you never use a teleporter. Where was I at? I'm so lost, guys. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Let me go ahead and pause the music so we don't have to fight with this in the background. Sorry, I've still got my webcam hidden from when I was recording shit, so we'll get that visible. You know, I had the thought I could just play Crimson Desert tonight, but I don't know, guys. I'd rather... Because there's going to be at least an hour tomorrow after we get back, and I have kids running around my house terrorizing everything, where I'm just going to want to come in here, shut the door, and play a game. I figure... Tebow OnlyFans. Oh my god, no. No. No, not happening. Anyways, not something that I particularly care about, but something that I know a lot of people have been talking about. I saw this, Sony allegedly raising the price of the PS5 by $100 in April. They call it a transporter in Star Trek. Dude, I don't know anything about Star Trek. I'm not even going to pretend to be a Trekkie. I watched Next Generation as a kid, occasionally when it was on in the afternoons, and that was it. I was a Star Wars kid, so glad you got one already. I mean, Nintendo did the same thing, though, didn't they? I feel like right around the time Nintendo released the Switch 2, then they raised the price of both the OG Switch and the new one. And so I can't remember if Xbox has followed suit yet or not, but this is not a shock, to be honest. Although it is kind of crazy seeing as, you know, we were all Star Wars kids. You know, Korean Cowboy, not everybody was. That's it's surprising to see. There's a lot of people who didn't really grow up on Star Wars, which is weird. I thought everybody watched it. I don't want my atoms all jumbled. PS Pro, the disk drive and tax cracks 1,000. Oof. Oh my god. I can't even imagine, okay? Like, I've had my computer for 6 years. I've swapped out a few parts. Then I swapped the whole case. Then I had to swap out the fans because the case. But that was all aesthetic for the most part. I didn't have to do that. It's had the same amount of RAM. I've swapped out the processor once and I've swapped out the GPU once. That's it. That's like a $500 combined upgrade. Other than that, it's like I can't imagine doing that shit. That's crazy. You've never watched Star Wars? What? Mari, how is that possible? Is Star Wars just not a big thing in Japan? Like, I understand that there are certain things that culturally just don't catch on for some reason, but that's crazy. I can't even imagine not having seen Star Wars. Now, I've only watched one of the Disney Star Wars movies, and that was enough. I think it was Force Awakens, and I was like, yeah, I don't need to watch any more of this crap. And then the prequels were awful. I know. I saw Razorfist today on Twitter talking about how, oh no, people didn't hate the prequels back then. I'm like, dude, oh my God. Star Wars family here. 40, 50 extended universe books, every Star Wars game up to that point that had ever existed. Grew up on the original movies, probably watched them 100 times each. Yes, we hated the prequels when they came out. Aren't missing out on much? Smeg. Come on. Never had TV since I was 7. But, Mari, you do have a computer, right? Or a phone. You could watch it on there. So, just saying. It's not like you're limited to the constraints of needing to have a TV to watch it on anymore. We have all this wonderful technology around us.
Do I need to be liked?
Yo, Smeg with the 5 gifted, man. You don't got to do that tonight, dude. This is going to be a really half-assed stream, dude. I mean, I'm just glad you're here. I'm glad that you guys, anybody's showing up right now, because to be honest, I am exhausted. I got no sleep last night. I had a really rough time staying asleep. Woke up with a nosebleed in the middle of the night, which is always fun. Happens to me when the seasons change. Or maybe it's a brain tumor. I don't know. We'll see. And of course, that was after my long-ass night of softball and baseball with the kids. And then, yeah. But, dude, Smeg, I appreciate the hell out of you, man. Sleep is for the weak. I know, right? But as the older I get, the weaker I get. So you got to remember that. Guys, I've got like, where are we at? Towards the end of March, I have 3 months. 3 months until I'm 40. Okay. But I had to go to 2 schools after once growing up. Oh, sure. I'm not talking about like when you were a kid. I'm just saying now. Like now when you're downtime, time to catch up on Star Wars. That's all. Snort up them crushed coffee beans. That's probably why I've got a nosebleed, man. Oh, man. I almost didn't jump in. I was playing CD in the zone. Short thought told me maybe I should take a small break. Am I the short thought? Are you calling me a short hoe? Is that what you're doing? Hey, Patriot. Good to see you, buddy. Older and weaker as decades? Oh, God. No. I'm already old as it is now. Although I was joking with this gal that I've known for years, and her kid is on the same team as my son. And I've known her since I was a teenager, and it's like, holy crap, we're both almost 40 or 40-ish and have kids on the same team now. What happened, you know? I was like, yeah, I might have to go fight that other coach over there, although he's probably going to kick the crap out of me. She's like, nah, you're scrappy. You can take it. I'm like, yeah, but it's not a tumor. It's not a tumor. Yes. We're the same height, so no. Oh, I didn't realize that you were a fellow shorty. Oh, damn, dude. We 3 men are the same height. That's right. If you stack all 3 of us on top of each other, we make two full-size men. Look at that. All right. So yeah, apparently PS5 price is going up by $100 in April. Why? I don't know, but the standard PS5 will now cost $650, while the digital is going to cost $600, and PS5 will cost $900. And as popular as Scrappy Doo. Oh my God. Second time less than a year that Sony raised up. Wait. This is the second price hike? Are you serious? As the company hiked prices by $50 for all 3 models last August. So in 8 months, they've raised the prices $150. Who's in the middle? Well, I'm on the top. As the smallest person, weight-wise, I'm going on top. And I feel sorry for you guys, because even though I'm still skinny, I'm starting to get a little heavier, a little chunkier around the midsection. 5'3"? No way. No way. There's no way that I got 3 inches on you. Now, Kata, I think, is maybe 5'5". That man is shorter than I am. First was due to tariff, now due to oil prices. Oh, that could have been it. Yeah. I see Sony wants people to move to PC. Yeah, Blithium, but the problem with that is everyone's kind of getting it like at both ends because moving to PC, this is a terrible time for that as well due to all, like the rising cost of everything. Matt Piscatella saying as video game hardware prices continue to jump rapidly, this market will lose presence in middle income households, while lower income households may be removed entirely. Basically, if you're poor, it's not for you, which is weird because that's been the argument for years that gaming used to be an exclusive, like a very elite niche kind of thing. Not everybody could afford it, which sure, that was the case at one point. But we also had physical hardware, physical games. Things didn't require a million patches. Games weren't shipped broken, buggy, full of messes. Everything was complete, at launch. So it's entirely different world. Plus, distribution costs were different because there was a smaller customer base. So everything had to cost more per unit. You swear? Damn, dude, 5'3". Short kings represent. I knew a guy that was like 5'2" once. He was a soccer player. I'm not kidding. He was like super athletic, really, really tiny little guy. Had to get a special writ just to get in the Marines. Dude, they probably gave you so much crap, but honestly, I respect the hell out of you for just taking it, I'm the tail of the human centipede. My apartment of 10 plus years, I was able to play, watch, stream, install anything that I recorded my video on Streamlabs. Before I recorded it, I unplugged it, plugged it back in. I thought we were good to go, but here we are 24 minutes in, and it's always the same case. It's always the same case. It's like 15 to 20 minutes in, and it's just going to cut out. You know? I know I'm back. It works like a charm. Unplug, replug, good to go. I don't know what the hell the deal is, but whatever. No, I was saying like back on my old apartment, I could install anything I wanted to because I was still grandfathered into my internet package where I could literally have unlimited internet, no problem, no data caps. Over here, I've gone over my data 2 or 3 times, like 2 or 3 months that we've been here, which is mainly because I don't have a cable box because there's nowhere to hook it up in my living room. So it's insane. In boot camp, I paired with a 7'6" dude. I didn't even come up to his shoulder. Have you seen like when a short or a normal sized person stands next to like Shaquille O'Neal or something? That's what I imagine it would be like. That's what it would probably be like. Yo, where has Asmongold been the last few days? I just noticed he hadn't been streaming the last couple days. Crazy. Knew a 5'3" guy in boot camp, little Mexican Messianic Jew. That's crazy. Anyways, so he went on to say if dedicated gaming devices are available only to the rich, it will be, in my opinion, a very, very bad thing for gaming overall. Yeah, dude, it's strange. Now, this picture now costs $25 after Epic Games decided to raise the price of V-Bucks. That's all, guys. I could have brought up the whole Epic Games thing because the entire crap going on with Fortnite right now, all the Epic Games layoffs, Tim Sweeney being the weenie that he is, like there is so much going on. Little people are tunnel rats. The good thing is I'm not claustrophobic because I would be that person that they would shove into a hole to clear something out, like back in the day. So yeah, that would be crazy. Legendary Drop says this is an intentional attack on lower or middle class. Can't afford games or hardware. Perfect. You'll then pay to stream games, pay for subscriptions, play games on mobile with predatory monetization. They will make more money through 1,000 cuts than with a premium product. Here's the thing. Knowing that Microsoft is losing a lot of money on Game Pass, and they've never made money really on their consoles, but they've really been heavily pushing the subscription service. The anything is an Xbox slogan that they're walking back now that they have Asha Sharma instead of Sarah Bond. it doesn't mean that they're really going to change their direction. I still think they're going to push for cloud gaming, and this kind of makes sense that all these platforms are going to be basically moving towards the same idea that, well, GPUs are expensive, RAM's expensive, all this stuff's expensive. Oh, you can't afford a console because they're now $2,000. PC parts are now 3,000 for a 5-year-old GPU or processor. Oh, that's okay. You can just stream it, man. You know. Claustrophobic now because of orders to find dead people in sewers. Oh, yuck, gross. Wait, no, Twitch, no, that was Tectone that was gonna go Rumble primarily, and he was just gonna upload his live streams to YouTube. Randy Newman, short people. Really hope Minecraft becomes independent. It won't. Notch, the maker of Minecraft, I mean, he sold it to Microsoft. I can't imagine that Mojang is going to be moving, like breaking free of Is that a thing that they're trying to break free of Microsoft? I can't imagine it is. Like, Microsoft likes to make money, and at least Minecraft, I would imagine, is still making money for them. So before we jump over to the Crimson Desert stuff, I did see this article that I wanted to go through real quick from Kotaku, and because it's Kotaku, it's going to be amazing. Asmon's been talking about doing the same recently. Asmon just made $140,000 on Kick alone last month. I don't know if you saw Equilibrium share that on Discord, DB. Like, I know that with Asmongold, he has so much money that it doesn't matter. Like, it's basically, he could quit streaming right now, and he's set for the rest of his life. His kids are probably set. He lives in the same house he's lived in for years. He doesn't have to, other than, I'm sure, maintaining, like, editing his videos or his live streams and whoever he works with, like lawyers and shit. I like gambling in games. Gambling in games is fun. There's a table that has 150 silver buy-in. Great place. Patriot, I'm still buying my way out of jail because my income's going to be garnished for probably the next 3 months of playing. Oh, man. Not leaving Kick, but I think he wants to leave Twitch. It always matters when you can never have enough kids. I don't think he has kids. Did I say he has kids? No, because Asmongold doesn't even have a significant like relationship as far as I know. PS4 VR is still so much fun. VR is interesting. I like VR for what it is. It's not something that I care to play myself. I thought it was interesting, but it's not something that I'd be like, oh yeah, I need to buy the latest VR thing or whatever. Yeah, Asmon had a few crazy girlfriends, right? If you have enough money, you can afford to do crime, right? Well, there you go. Crime never pays. No, dude, Kick is white trash Twitch, and Twitch is already white trash enough as it is. Kick, I despise. And I'm on Kick. I've got like 50 followers on there. Most of them are you guys from YouTube that don't, I mean, it is what it is. It's just another platform. But Kick, Twitch, Rumble, any of these platforms, honestly, the only reason I'm on any other platform is due to the fact that YouTube, while it's the most, well-functioning and it's the obvious choice for my kind of content and stuff, you kind of have to put yourself on other platforms just to make sure that if anything ever goes wrong, you have a backup, right? It's happened to Hypnotic before. It's happened to a few people where they got yeeted from YouTube and they had to have another way of, streaming and making videos and all that. The problem is those alternate platforms are so they're not enjoyable to be on. They're not well, formatted. Like, I mean, Twitch is decent, but let's be honest, Twitch is a cesspool, His kids are the cockroaches that live in his place. Oh my god. Last one was a hot mess. Yeah, I mean, the thing is also he's got so much fame and money. I can't imagine a girl dating him now. Like him finding a normal girl that's not just after him for money, especially given the fact that he's Asmongold. I can't imagine as a woman trying to date him. Like I don't know. I can't put myself in a woman's shoes. The 140K he made on Kick at his size just means that no one else is making nearly as much, and good luck hitting his numbers. Yeah, for real. Sponsors and pays crazy amounts. Well, plus, I mean, ad revenue. I mean, he doesn't run ads on Twitch, but I don't know if he's running ads on Kick or YouTube. He might not be running them on any of them. I don't know. Most women, I doubt, even know who he is. Yeah, probably true. All right. So speaking of women, I saw this. I think Smash shared it earlier. It's from Kotaku. Says I played Dark Souls for the first time in 2026, and it really is the best ever. I was afraid to try it, and now I'm so sad it's over. I mean, look, this could be a normal take for anybody who's ever waited to play a game. I've had games that I've waited to play, and then years later, I'm like, oh my god, this was amazing. Why didn't I play this sooner? If this was that kind of article, that would be fine. Yes, actually, Cage, you're 100% correct. I can put on most women's shoes that are almost equivalent height to me. The problem is women's shoes are smaller, on average, like a half to a whole size smaller by number size. So it has to be a woman with larger feet. But yes, are dainty enough. They're not dainty. I got wide feet. Okay, I have to have like wide shoes. Twitch Forces ads. He discovered it a few months ago because he thought he had it disabled on his end. Oh, well, that's weird because I don't think watching him on Twitch, I don't think I've ever run into an ad. I am banned on his chat though. I can't chat on Asmongold's stream. I said something one of his mods didn't like. I was being rude about or critical of sweet Anita, you know the chick that fakes having Asperger's? Not Asperger's, Tourette's. Yeah, that chick. One of his mods is probably a simp. And so I got banned. It's like, it is what it is. I don't care. Well, Mari, the thing, there's no reason to even like chat because he's got 40,000 people watching him. So he's not going to respond to chats anyways, you know? Dude, no, no. You know, most of you guys probably think The Office is cringe and awful. Do you ever see the episode of The Office where Michael and Ryan, for some reason, I think it's for a bachelor party, they go to a sex shop, like an adult store with all the toys and the lingerie and all that. And Ryan's on the phone and they're like, oh, what's taking you guys so long? And he's like, we haven't even bought anything yet. Michael's just giggling. And he's like walking around laughing at all the stuff on the shelves. Like, yeah, that would be like me trying to go buy a ball gag, okay? His mods are nuts. I had a battle with one because she was a Hassan simp. Well, yeah, Mari, the thing is, while it might appear that Hassan and Asmongold hate each other, they farm each other for content. So it is very likely that their moderators are actually fans of the other person's content, but it's a job. A job's a job, right? I was critical of the Asperger who fakes Tourette's. Yeah, exactly. Tried the British Office and couldn't make it. I can't imagine watching the British Office, to be honest. We're on ball gags. I didn't bring it up. That wasn't me. I thought he said ball. Oh, him in a ball bag. I think he meant ball gag. I don't know. Well, yeah, but Mari, the thing is, these are just people who are in charge of like making sure that their chat doesn't get too out of hand. I don't think that they really care, you know, who they're a fan of. They're paid employees, you know. You remember that episode? It was a great episode. Mission abort ball gag Sasonomics. All right, so here we go. This is from Kotaku. It says, gamer imposter syndrome is par for the course when you're not a man. Starting off strong with this first sentence, right? He's too much. Yeah, but the thing is, for me, Wise Ass Duck, I typically what'll happen is the days that I end up just putting on Twitch and leaving it on with Asmongold, I'm not usually like in the mood to watch him or listen to him, but there will literally be nothing else on. And I'll just be like, you know what? I need something to fill the background noise. That'll be about it, you know? Yeah, I want to fake Tourette's. I grew up thinking that even though I loved them, video games weren't meant for people like me. Oh boy. If you have that thought, then they weren't. If you honestly think, oh no, I shouldn't play games because I'm a girl, then no, you shouldn't play them. You're right. If for whatever reason you've made yourself feel that way, that's a you thing. I shied away from behemoth titles like Dark Souls because I was convinced that only a certain kind of person could successfully play these games. I think she means somebody with a penis. White noise, I'll find some random video, even a cop body cam. Well, Smeg, I've never watched it. Ricky Gervais is funny, and I typically like really dry humor, but I just don't know. Started with the British Office. I dig me some British humor and watched the American Office for a bit. Honestly, I couldn't tell you which one I like better. Well, then I should definitely go back and try watching it then. I haven't tried watching it. According to Psychology Today, oh God, girls are socialized to believe that capability is an inherent static trait. Young girls avoid challenges, try to look smart, give up easily if they can't be perfect on the first try, and see added effort as fruitless. These people at Psychology Today haven't met my daughter, and she's not even 11 yet. Meanwhile, young boys who are told to keep trying tend to develop a growth mindset for belief that ability can be developed. They embrace challenges, persist during setbacks, and believe that with more effort or repetitions, they can master a task. My oldest son is as competitive as it gets, but he'll be the first person to give up easily on something that he can't succeed at, whereas my daughter is much more likely to keep trying. This is complete bullshit. I'm a masochist because I play Souls games. I love getting beat down by the enemies and bosses. That sounds like you got a fetish there, Korean Cowboy. Not gonna lie. Lost my interest already in this article. It involves psychology. Right, exactly. Well, I was conditioned to believe that I couldn't play Souls-likes because of some predetermined trait that I had no control over. She just is saying because I'm a girl. Still at my partner's insistence. Oh my god. Okay. Okay. And the funny thing is she's straight because her partner's a guy. Stop calling your girlfriend or your boyfriend or your significant other your partner. Please stop. For the love of God, when did this become a thing? At my partner's insistence, I bought Dark Souls Remastered for half off and gave it a try, bracing myself for imminent failure and humiliation. I'm not going to lie and say the first few hours were good. I would make my way past a cluster of undead soldiers just to immediately get destroyed by the next horde and have to start all over again. I was frustrated, yelling at the TV screen that it was ridiculous and unfair, and where was the next bonfire? Well, here's how you know she's a normie games journalist, because she was playing on her TV and not on her computer. So she's a console normie. No offense. No offense. I'm just saying. Is he still reading? I went up to an enemy and drank an Estus flask, and my partner patiently reminded me that the attack button was R, not X. Eventually, I made it to Taurus Demon, an early boss in the game's Undead Burg area. He was enormous and terrifying. I thought about how far away the last bonfire was, how much I struggled just to get to this point, how soon I'd die and have to do it all over again. As I kept getting killed by and subsequently crawling back to my way back to Taurus Demon, the gauntlet of undead, my path got easier. I grew accustomed to their attack patterns and was able to easily take out enemies that just a few hours before felt terrifying and unbeatable. One time I made it to the Taurus Demon, got killed by an attack I recognized just a little too late, and shocked myself, muttering, yeah, that's fair. My partner could hardly contain his excitement. You get it now. What I didn't know, what makes Dark Souls such a legendary game, is that it teaches you how to conquer it as long as you're willing to learn. Oh my god, a woman has thoughts. A woman just learned something. Dude, mark the date on your calendar. I ended up beating Dark Souls DLC included in less time than it had taken my partner on his first try. Your partner's a bitch, just saying. This game that I was convinced only people like my partner, oh my god, stop saying partner, could play, I turned out actually to be better at, and she's emasculating him in the same article, guys. All I needed was the courage to try. All right. Wow. Akin to saying my roommate, basically. Undead Burg is the bloody beginning. Right. Oh yeah, Patriot. It irritates the crap out of me. Yeah, it's meant to be a benign way of referring to a homo relationship. Exactly. One of my daughter's coaches, one of my fellow coaches on her team, is straight and calls. I can't remember if it's her current boyfriend or whatever, her partner or her ex that she had a kid with, her ex partner. I can't remember how she referred to it. I thought, I'm like, wait a second, is this two mom situation? I'm like, oh no, she's straight. Like. Stuff that didn't happen for 1,000, Alex. Yep. I don't mind the partner terminology, especially in a family setup. Raising a family is not something a husband does or a wife does, but a partnership. No, a partnership is one thing, but you have to recognize that within those partnerships, you have two genders, two dynamics coming from the male and female, and that's either the boyfriend, girlfriend, or, husband, wife, father, daughter, all those kind of things, So, howdy, partner. Yeah. My other hetero relationship is a partner. I don't know. Something about the terminology just irritates the crap out of me. Anyways, that was about as awful as I thought it was going to be to read, so that was fun. Boyfriend, hubby. I just like the concept of boyfriend relationship without purpose of marriage. Well, no, Mari, I agree with you there. Dating is supposed to be with the intention to marry. That's the only point of dating, is to find somebody to be with long term. Whether you decide to have like a religious ceremony, not a legal marriage, or what civil union, that's irrelevant. My point is simply trying to date without the intention of being with somebody long term is pointless. That's stupid, sure. But I don't see anything wrong like with calling someone your boyfriend or girlfriend. I get it, if somebody's like 70 and you have a boyfriend, it's gonna sound weird, right? Whatever. Would you rather this whole article she replaced partner with bae? Yes. I could read bae. Dating nowadays is how many bodies you can get. Yeah, exactly. Well, also, I don't know about my demographic, like people in my age range that, you know, mid 30s to let's say mid 40s. Are those people even dating or are they just sleeping around too? You know, bae sounds gay. Oh, it absolutely sounds gay, but I'd rather say bae than partner. All right. All right. So, Cage, you're here. That's all that matters when it comes to Fleek because I have not watched this video yet. I got about 30 seconds. Yeah, like 25 seconds into it earlier. I'm like, wait a second. I'm supposed to stream tonight. We got Fleekazoid's new video out today. I'm going to save it for the stream, you know? Yeah, Fleek, exactly. Exactly, Smeg. So let's go ahead and watch this. This is Crimson Desert overhyped? I would say no, but that's just my take on it. Let's switch to the full screen. Hang on a sec here. That way we can enjoy it in the correct settings, correct resolution here. I identify as mint chip ice cream. Is that because you're short? You're just a mint chip? Let me see. Do I have it? Where is it at? It's not working. Damn, Stream Deck's not working again. Son of a bitch. Hang on. Let me boot up my voice mod and see if that's the problem. Half the time voice mod doesn't even take effect, doesn't work. Now let's try this again. Oh yeah, see? Stupid thing. I don't want to hear myself. Turn that off. There we go. That's what I was looking for. Itty bitty chip. Yeah, okay, I gotta ask you, Lixelplix, though, I gotta ask you real quick. Would you, and this is hypothetical, because you said, I think earlier, I think you said you were married. Would you, as a 5'3" man, because I know my answer, as a short man, would you be in a relationship with a woman who was significantly taller than you? And I'm talking like you're 5'3". Let's say she's like 5'11", 6'1", but she's got like that Amazon build where she's thick and she's, you know, curvy and all that, but she's just like significantly taller to the point where it looks like she could just pick you up and carry you around. Like, you dated a girl that was 6 foot? Based. Okay. Sex was weird. I can imagine it was. Oh man, that is great. That answers my question. Yep, exactly. 6'4", and I love taller women. See, as a short man, I'm naturally inclined to be like, all right, you tall guys, you guys go after the tall women, leave the short women for us. But there have been those times where I'm like, you know what? I wouldn't mind. It would be weird. It would be weird at first. I'd stand on a step to kiss her. Oh my god. Exactly. It's like, all right. Yeah, like a jungle gym sounds fun. All right. Enough of that. I just had to ask. All right, let's go ahead and watch Fleek's video. Why is this taskbar in the way?
No. Until now. That's my job. Everybody's getting off the hype train. Good. Get off. Joke's on you, I'm into this kind of freaky shit. No story, all gameplay, the hype train's accelerating. Get off. Tuck and roll, cause I'm on some low cortisol shit now. So far, every game this year has disappointed me, except Neo, but we'll talk about that next week. Code Vania was bad, Requiem made me do this for the first 6 hours before I could do the good part of the game.
What do I do? What the fuck? Yeah.
Does she really talk like that the entire game? I like this kind of editing. No way. I like no. The Fleek's videos are edited like so well. But does Grace in Requiem actually stutter like that the entire game, like stammering? Oh my god. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. No way. No way. She talks like that the entire game. When me and Taller Gal were dating, I made a point always to cower when we were in public and she'd ask me a question when people were present, making it look like she beat me. Oh my god. Whew.
A third day of
Crimson Desert and Lego Batman is all I got left. I can't let the hype train derail. Besides, what am I gonna do? Listen to the opinion of people on Twitter about this game. They say Crimson Desert is ass, then go, oh, but no, AC Odyssey is great. Just say you like playing butt pirates with Pythagoras. Your parents won't be any more disappointed than they already are. I can say anything into this microphone. Florida, peppercorn, butter. I started reading Berserk recently. I'm getting big frog and toad vibes from this one. I'm free will maxing. Crimson Desert looks like the game of the generation. If Jesus came back on the same day Crimson Desert releases, I'll catch the third coming. Flood the Chuck E. Cheeses without me, J-Man. Crimson Desert's only happening once. I'm on some hope core shit. Most new releases are 10-hour games stretched into 1,000 hours. This looks like a 1,000-hour game packed into 100 hours. I think I get this feeling because Crimson Desert was built as an MMO originally, but then they condensed it into a single-player game, removing the cash shop and adding even more content to be unlocked through gameplay instead of MasterCard. You wouldn't.
I do have another complaint about CD, though. The tutorial goes on forever. I'm still playing Quest, introducing me features of it. Yeah, okay, Patriot. I will still stand by the fact that the intro, the tutorial, that little area in the village when you first get in there and then try to get introduced to the combat, it's done terribly. It is awful. Wait. Why is that stuck? You didn't know there's a jetpack? Dude, how have you not known this? That's been like leaked for weeks now that there's a jetpack in the game. Oh, Fleekazoid's awesome. Fleek is awesome.
Catch 10 Cent doing that. If 10 Cent started doing that, they'd turn into 10 pennies. Give me some. Take it back. My big problem with this game is that they want me to think. Everything has been lost in translation. The Koreans did not give us a single tutorial. Good. I'm a dumbass begging to be lost. Give me something to overcome other than my boredom. Games these days are so soft, sometimes I'll put a blindfold on and walk a mile into the woods with no GPS just to see if I can find my way back. You know what I'm talking about, pimp? You don't gotta get hard if you stay hard. But this game isn't even hard. I'm hard. I'm coming into this game like it's Project Zomboid or System Shock. The story is gonna be the one I make through the wealth of mechanics at my disposal. But if you're looking for a story, I've got the perfect game for you.
Oh god, no. No. Like them French fried taters. I love the butt to Kim Jong that goes to the SK flag. Yeah. Yeah, Kim Jong. Dude, honestly, what was his dad's name? Kim Jong Il? I think it was Kim Jong Il. Finished a quest introducing me to gambling after I've already made over 3,000 gambling. I'm like, bro, how do you think I'm funding this camp? Oh my god.
I keep forgetting what this game is called, but if you look up Lesbian Night, you'll see a lot of better results, and then toward the bottom of those results, you're gonna see something that makes you sad. That's how you know you found it. Why you go buy that? You can use Pimp to get 10% off this big titty
Oh my
shirt.
god,
That's
dude.
the kind of sick, twisted shit I'm into. Crimson Desert's combat is what excites me the most. Look at this. I can use enemies like a springboard. I can suplex them off a cliff. I can hit them with a lariat. When I wake up in the morning rock hard, I don't have to wonder what I was dreaming about. I know I was dreaming about Crimson Desert's combat. This combat excites me because of combos, Dynasty Warrior level body counts, and the enemies all attack at the same time. You wouldn't believe how many trash control schemes I can forgive when you let me hit an RKO on a medieval knight. We've got early reviewers rage quitting the game because they didn't want to learn combos. These aren't even that hard. I don't think you even know what a bad combo really is.
Oh my god, wait, was this Soul Calibur? Tekken. Okay, that was Tekken. Soul Calibur, guys, you guys remember the combos on that game, right? Get Un and Il mixed up. I was not a Tekken guy. I played Soul Calibur, a little bit of Street Fighter, more, Mortal Kombat more back in the day when I was really little. Nature Snare is a pain to get working on controller. Dude, there are so many of these combos back in the day. No one remember that shit? Oh, man. No, Soul Calibur was where it was at.
Combo really is. Notice something else? No health bars in this honky tonk. One of the most annoying things about AC Shadows is spending an Olympiad hacking down each enemy, because that's no rice farmer. That's a level 50 rice farmer. He doesn't wait for the rice to grow. The rice waits for him to grow. Listen, if it's not your thing, more power to you. But beating off 100 guys at the same time, that's the sick shit I'm into. In a fight, right?
Of course, pal. Whatever you think is best.
You know
Oh
what
my
else?
God.
Patent infringement is the sick shit I'm into. Crimson Desert takes so much from so many different games. It's like those new round games where you play as Mario shooting strippers. It reminds me of this little game that asks the innocent question, what if Pokemon had slavery? Some are coming to this game looking for a story. Some people should be pushed off for stories. Don't come to me talking about this story bullshit when I'm suplexing a man off a cliff. You want a story? Read a book. I bet you shit talk Pac-Man because there isn't enough daddy issue subtext. That's what Miss Pac-Man is for. Now this game focuses on gameplay over story. No, fuck, God, oh man, what am I gonna, why God? Most movies don't even have good stories. Let's focus on what matters. I just found out we can play rock, paper, scissors. This could be a 2,000-hour game.
Let's play rock, paper, scissors.
No crying if you lose.
I won. I take that back. We got a nagging wife? 4,000-hour game. Unquestionable. A lot of stuff is wrong with this game. But
Oh, I've
3
seen
days
that clip.
after
That's
release,
awesome.
They're already fixing all of it, every last ounce of it.
The
And
floating
I know
horse.
You like games that patch biannually, but this is the sick shit I'm into. The game hasn't been running well on some PCs, and there's just no excuse for these broke gamers. This guy can't run it with a 5090. There's your problem, bro.
Oh my God. Let's see. Turning the LSS quality, blah, 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 spots for looks and FPS for me, but I'm on a 5090. What the hell? I'm on a 9060 and the game runs on cinematic mode on my computer just fine. I think they made Skyrim into VR. 99 Nights. That was one that I never played. I looked at picking it up a long time ago, though. Oh, they did make it on VR? Oh my God. X to doubt that he even knows he has a 5090. Yeah.
There's your problem. Broke gamer alert, broke gamer alert. You should have gotten your queen to buy you a 6070. Drizzle, drizzle. Take your $10,000 PC and go play something your junker can actually run. Do you think the Nuvo is going to stop me? Do you think not having a 5090 is going to stop me? Do you think that plate glass window and the 2 guards standing by the bank door are going to stop me? Do you think capital punishment is going to stop me? Honestly, do you think a little police chase with 1,000 cars behind me and a barricade coming imminently up ahead is gonna stop me from playing Crimson Desert? If I want to play a game, nothing can stop me. That's why I got Kingdom Come installed on 3 different consoles, and
Oh my God, Kingdom Come in, guys. Oh my God. Dude, I want to steal that. That is amazing.
still haven't played it. This is a runaway hype train. Get out of the way because it's time for a crash landing. I just played the game for several hours. Is it worth my hype? Not even a little bit. It's worth so much more. I just punched a tree down, then used that tree to beat up another tree. Kind of a Minecraft knockoff. This is a game for real gamers. Buy your cousin this game for Kwanzaa. You're witnessing greatness. At the end of the day, if there's anything that you take away from this whole debacle,
oh my
it's
God,
that some people have taste and other people play marathons. All right, what the fuck are you still doing here? The game is out. Get the fuck out of here. Thanks to the flock of pimps for bankrolling this video, and another huge thanks to everyone using
my
code
God,
PIMP to get 10% off over at GamerSupps. Listen, we'll talk more about.
Dude, that was awesome. Yo, guys, I'm gonna link it down in the chat. Not that Fleek needs my help for his videos, but holy crap, dude! Cage, I'm so glad that you turned me on to Fleekazoid, because legitimately funny as hell every time. Yeah, no, that was awesome. All right, so we've heard from Fleekazoid. We've heard his opinion on Crimson Desert. The other opinion that truly matters, guys. After all that. Yeah, Video Game Donkey, the only problem was, like, his last video was kind of a snoozer. It was weird. I don't know. I don't think he played long enough. I think he wanted to kind of hit the hype train while Crimson Desert was trending. And he didn't go through much of the game before he did his video. The IGN article, oh, we'll get there. at some point. I'll pull that one up later. This one is actually most people probably haven't seen this one because he's kind of fallen off the face of the earth. Pirate Software has thoughts. Pirate Software has thoughts on Crimson Desert, guys. Would you believe it? I know, right? Crazy. Done with Crimson Desert for the time being until some updates go through. All right, that doesn't sound very positive, but we'll continue. Soft cock has risen. Yes. This coming from the man who made his indie side-scrolling, top-down, whatever you want to call it, his emotional... it was like he was making like therapy sessions into a game. It was weird. Well, you know, I could turn on a voice mod and talk like this also. We could all do that. He's not the only one that has that ability. Still hasn't finished it. Are we talking about his game? Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. All right, he says, I really enjoyed the overall world setting and how much reward there was for exploring. Tons of secret areas, little bonuses are all over the place. It really does feel great to find little caves hidden in rock walls or a chest with some wild item in a basement hidden in a hut. Bosses feel a bit weird where I was just bursting damage, getting smacked, then eating food mid-battle Skyrim Wheel of Cheese style. On some encounters, full screen tutorials popped up in the middle of the fight that really broke the flow of the game. I ended up beating Matthias, Hornsplitter, Reed Devil. I'm up to Reed Devil. That's who I gotta fight next. Tenebrum, Kirush, and Excavatron. The controls directly led me to putting the game down for now. Multiple actions on the... Now, this one complaint. Don't go deep throat, I won't. This one complaint I actually agree with. You have to hit bosses more to beat them. I will agree with him on this one. I've gotten more or less used to it the longer I play. It's still really crappy button mapping in my personal opinion. For instance, on the left joystick alone, you have movement, crouch, and hookshot. This means if you accidentally press too hard in the middle of intense combat, you hookshot worthlessly into the ground. Doesn't seem to be a need for this at all. Really hoping they add native controller remapping so this isn't an issue anymore. I kind of agree with that one. You're a controller pleb? Well, no, I prefer to play mouse and keyboard. I stopped playing mouse and keyboard on the game when it got really wonky with the controls, but that was prior to the first patch. So I might actually, either after the stream or tomorrow, I might mess around with the game on mouse and keyboard again. I'm surprised he can't blame someone else for his Crimson Desert gameplay. I know, right? L3 does a lot when pressed, depending on where you are and how it's pressed, which gets annoying but works well enough. It's the cost of having so many things you can do. I mean, Patriot, I think the better workaround is just to play it on mouse and keyboard if you can, which is what I'm going to try to go back and doing instead. The game is not as hard to play on mouse and keyboard as a game like Elden Ring or Dark Souls would be. So it's not like trying to do like First Berserker or Black Myth Wukong on mouse and keyboard compared to playing those games on controller. It's a lot. I would say that the combat is more forgiving than that. Do it live. Why? No one's going to want to watch that, man. There's enough people streaming Crimson Desert. It's not like the shit show that was Voto. You know, guys, I need more bad games to come out that I would actually play. Not Relooted, not Dustborn, not any of that garbage. I don't know how people subjected themselves to those games long enough to get through them. Like, I'd play those for an hour and be like, this is boring, I'm not doing this anymore. At least Voto had me doing things that I would normally like playing in games. It was just done poorly. It was just a really cringe, really awful game. Other games are just mind-numbing to look at. Long Duck Dong? Yeah. All right. The story felt weird as hell to me at first, but then it clicked about 10 hours in. It didn't take 10 hours for me. It took about 2. I approached this game as an open world RPG, but it feels more akin to an open world exploration game like No Man's Sky. When I made that connection, my objectives and interactions felt like they made a ton more sense and the game felt better overall. And this at least is fair given the fact that they came out and said, yeah, we didn't work as much on this story because we knew that gameplay was our expertise. In fact, I'll pull it up in a minute here. There was actually the statement from the developer, from the CEO at the shareholder meeting today about that. The only thing he has correct is the price, but we're used to that shit here. Be wild. I've never had complaints about my finger abilities in the past. Oh my god. Hey, I used to speedrun games or like freaking insane levels on Mario Maker 2, okay? It's not a issue with playing on a controller. For me, I don't know. I feel like the controls, although they're better, are still a little clunky. But I don't know. My joints are killing me on the controller. That said, you have tried Nature's Snare. I have not. And DB Wild might have, but I have not. Story is not their expertise. I mean, they can't be any worse than Neil Cuckman with. So, Korean Cowboy, there is something to be said for that. We talk about this a lot, and while there are games like Expedition 33 where the story is awesome as well as the game itself. Not every game is going to have like 10 out of 10 voice acting, well-written stories that aren't cringe, that aren't annoying, that don't preach at you, that somehow make you relate to the characters, and then are still enjoyable games. You know, a game that had a great story, that was not over the top, that was well voice acted, that was not preachy, and it didn't have any major impact on the gameplay, but it actually worked really well, was like Titanfall 2. The campaign for Titanfall 2, fantastic. You know, you don't really spend much time being emotional in that game because you're shooting shit, right? But when BT has to sacrifice himself to save the pilot, it's a cool moment. You know, it's still, you're emotionally connected to this big stupid robot, right? So while it's not everything in a game, it is important to some degree. But yeah, not everything has to be like Last of Us or freaking Life is Strange or whatever. No finger issue complaints, like how you wove that into the sentence. Dude, he's a master at that. Leisure Suit Larry, oh my god, I never played those ones. I think I was a little young when those games came out, to be honest. I wasn't buying my own video games at that point. Hold down R3 and you press L3 and R3 and then rotate R3. It's a pain, especially with arthritis. See, I don't have arthritis. I've got tendinitis in my elbow. That's what I got. No arthritis, though, thank God. Let me see here. I think this is more of an issue of perception than it is anything wrong with the game. Then why are you bringing it up? Talking about the story and the objectives and all that. For the price, I would say that no game is worth $70 regardless of how amazing or prestigious it is. Well, now you're talking semantics, because no game is worth $70, but it's also, if you go to the movie theater and you buy popcorn and a soda and there's two of you, that's $70 right there for maybe an hour and a half to 2 hours of a shitty movie. So this whole defining what is worth $70, it's all subjective. I don't think most video games are worth 70. Sure. I mean, I think that's a reasonable take. I think at most a great game should be 50 to 60, and a good game or a game that's more of an indie or a double A should be in that $20 to $40 range where you can play it for hours and hours and hours on end, but it's not going to break the bank in order for you to play it. I think that's a reasonable thing to have, you know? But, well, you know, what do I know? Yeah, I think 70 is too much. In general. Generally speaking, I think 70 is too much. DB might be better than Fair Game. Yeah, I know, and you got Fair Game as your game of the year, so that's high ranking for you. Games need to be affordable, and with the amount of economic turmoil right now, prices in excess of $60 USD don't make a lot of sense. This directly prices out many people in countries like Australia, shout out Smeg, Brazil, Poland, New Zealand. Poland, Tekla, I think, is over in Poland. New Zealand, I don't think we got any Kiwis in the chat. And Canada. Oh, we don't have any Canadians. No, screw them Canadians. Cage, you can have your friend up in Canada, but they're not real people, not a real place. At the same time, due to currency conversion rates, most of my viewers were saying they refuse to buy it until it's on sale as a result. Overall, I think the game's enjoyable, has a ton of potential, a little rough around the edges right now, but nothing that can't be fixed. Regardless of how I feel, I hope you're enjoying the game and it continues to improve with time. Caucadians, exactly. I didn't even find the story for The Last of Us all that great. It was okay, but shallow. Well, see, the thing is, anybody who talks about like games that have like, oh, amazing story, it usually means it's gay. I mean, can we be honest? And that doesn't mean that all games that have great stories are gay stories or some sort of like weird LGBT, propaganda crap. But it tends to be the games that heavily emphasize how important the story is tend to be the ones that are also more preachy, and those tend to be the ones that have a lot of that representation in it. A roughly the same dollar to US conversion rate. Kind of assume that. I think people are over-exaggerating on the story of Crimson Desert. Some of the best games that came out long ago had boring, average stories. Sam Fisher, the best example of what you're talking about there, and I mentioned it in one video, and I've seen people talk about it online. Crimson Desert is very much like Legend of Zelda in the gameplay, like the Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom iterations of Zelda. The thing about it is, because Zelda has the long-standing fan base, and it's the pedigree of Nintendo being one of their tentpole IPs, everyone kind of can... And I thought the story for Breath of the Wild was cool, but the story is a very tiny part of the game. And as much as I love that Link has never been fleshed out, like he's not, no one's trying to go, what does Link think about this? Let's dive into the psychology of why he doesn't talk. No, forget that. He's the player protagonist. He's the good guy hero. He kills the bad guys. Simple as, don't try to make overcomplicate Link, right? Totally fine with that. But it does mean he's also a very boring protagonist if you think about it, you know? People are confused about what games mean to them. Could be. Zelda nearly has zero story. Yeah. Pirate Soft Man. Skyrim was boring as hell with the gameplay. I tried playing Skyrim and I got bored with it. It was either Skyrim or Oblivion. I can't remember which one it was. But I loved Morrowind. Morrowind is the only Elder Scrolls game that I put any time into at all. I put hundreds of hours into that game. And at the end of it all, the story was also good, but it was a small part of the game, you know? In the games like Zelda and Halo, it was the world building. But I would say that Halo has a much more... Like, the story for Halo is important because until you get to Infinite, there's no open world exploring in Halo. In Halo, they're story-driven missions, right? Okay, the story might be that much of the actual gameplay, you know, but like you're still completing the levels in order and going along with the story. Oh, I believe you, Cage, but dude, honestly, after I bought Crimson Desert, I'm like, there's no way I'm buying Tainted Grail right now. There's just no time. No time, man. So what we were talking about, though, let me find, I don't have the IGN article pulled up, but I do have it I've got it in my bookmarks, I'm pretty sure. Let me pull this one up. People add Elden Ring to Skyrim or Neo or Devil May Cry. Yeah, and those games are look, here's the thing. A lot of people talk about Elden Ring as if it doesn't have a story. Look, Elden Ring is weird. The Souls games are weird. I would always have to go on Wikipedia or any other website, any sort of wiki, to look up what I didn't understand about Elden Ring or about Dark Souls, because there is so much in there that I didn't pick up on it at the time, and I didn't spend every hour of every day like going through all of it. So there's a lot of stuff that I missed in there, right? Where is this at? I know I've got the article somewhere. Well, here we go. There's the shareholder meeting, and then there's IGN. Oh, here's this one. I mentioned this one in my video. I'll pull this one up too. Valve. Dude, there's some hot takes the last couple days that are insane. That's so weird. I don't have that one. Huh. I guess I'll just go to IGN's website and find it. Ugh. Or I could probably find it on Twitter. Give me 1 second. IGN. The Idiot Gay News. Dude, I have to mow the lawn tomorrow. I need to go to the gym. I need to cut my hair. Probably trim the beard a little bit. And then I got my daughter's softball game at 5. That's going to be a busy day tomorrow. Okay, here we go. Sorry, I wasn't ignoring you guys. Pearl Abyss has already made significant, meaningful changes to Crimson Desert following a rocky launch, but patches can't fix the game's biggest problem. Oh boy. Don't forget your manscaping. Dude, that's a never-ending problem. Use a push mower. I can use it like a push mower, but mine's also self-propelled. The thing is, my grass, you got to remember where I live. I'm basically in a swamp. So we spend most of the winter getting nonstop rain. The grass is probably going to be too wet for me to even mow, but I have to do it because the grass is getting long. And you push the mower 5 feet without it being self-propelled, all 4 wheels turning, you will end up digging yourself into a hole. It's crazy. Dalfang has a good video on IGN's bias. So basically, instead of it being a swamp with like a bog and bog pits and shit, instead what I got over here is moss. So I've got like the yard, because it's a rental. It's not my yard, but I'm probably gonna, if we live here long term, I'm gonna probably have to replace all the grass in the yard because it's all mossy and disgusting. The moss tears up when you roll over it if you're not like careful, and then it just leaves dirt behind, and the grass gets kind of choked out. It's insane. The ones with just blades, oh hell no, dude, no way. Don't need toilet paper. Section, they might get yeeted. Probably would get yeeted. Now that I think about it. Oh, later, Patriot. Have a good night, buddy. Sorry, just saw that you were leaving. All right. Where was this one? So first of all, there was this one here, which I thought was hilarious. Just pop my back and now I'm gonna be laying down for a few extra minutes. Dude, Korean Cowboy, I feel you there. Once in a while, because I've got a herniated disc I've had for like 15 years, once in a while I'll do too much and I'll feel that twinge, that jolt go through my back, or I'll feel that pain when I bend over, and it's like, yeah, I'm not doing anything else for a while. This is PC Gamer here. Stop saying yeet. Yeet. It's on fleek. Of all the Crimson Desert's baffling design choices, its playable trio might be the worst offender. So I skimmed through this, and basically the author didn't like the fact that your main story-driven character, again, all this talk about the story, right? The story's not, there's not enough story, it's not very good, not very compelling. Her general complaint is that the story revolves too much on Cliff, right? She finally gets to play Damien the chick, and it's like, oh no, now we got to go back and play Cliff again because he's the story character and these other characters just aren't that good. Or these other characters are better, but they have no story, right? She says, because Crimson Desert is clearly first and foremost Cliff's story. When I unlocked Damien, I instantly switched to her. I've always preferred characters who are a little lighter on their feet, and as a woman, I naturally gravitate towards characters who feel more representative of me. Except as soon as I tried to do a quest, I was forced to switch back to Cliff. Again and again, the game would fling my camera up in the air, Grand Theft Auto style, to take me back to the Greymane. One point, the story rips Damien away's playable option entirely for what could be hours upon hours of the game time if you're not torpedoing your way through the main story quest. What's the point in presenting me with options if only one of them is a consistently viable choice? Typical feminist, right? Yeah, this is crap, dude, every time. One rider, one gas power mower with self-propulsion, one rotating blade push mower used for different things. I've only got the one. I've got the self-propelled. Yeah, their roles as mere substitutes for Cliff is presented more than just mission capabilities. Both Damon and Unka's skill trees are significantly smaller. Lack of abilities that Cliff possesses makes certain puzzles or traversal methods impossible. So you play Cliff. My God. She's just bitching because she can't play the woman. That's crazy. It's a bummer because I would argue that Damien in particular is a far more compelling character. Her background as one of the surviving members of a fallen house taken in by a swordmaster who has since gone missing is a wonderful premise that I was desperate to wade through Crimson Desert's disjointed narrative to learn. Well, guess what? Stop complaining. They might add more to her story. But my God. Wow. And I would have killed to have Cliff and Unka's close relationship explored in more detail. Oh my God, you know she would just want to make them like gay for each other. I created a Lilith in every game. I don't need to see me. It's a game. Off-stream watches videos, a good highlight of modern gaming journals and their shit. Just for perspective, rips apart IGN's BS, not hard. But yeah, exactly. You have to play other characters regardless because eventually you have to jump off of the cliff to progress the story. Dude, she's just bitching for the sake of bitching about something. All right, but going back to IGN's, their complaint, or their statement, I guess you would say, can Crimson Desert patch its way to a Cyberpunk 2077 style victory? Pearl Abyss has already made significant changes, but there are some things that can't be fixed. The craziest thing about this, and this is where the community note comes in, it says, this is clickbait. The game did not release with any game-breaking bugs. I've heard some people say that there are some, like, I think it was save bugs, or maybe it was something else. The game did not release game-breaking bugs, and users have not reported any game-breaking bugs. Most reviews have been favorable. Hey, H. Brown. Yeah, you love to hate them, dude. Love to hate them. GTA 5 is the same way. You have to switch between depending on what's going on in the story. In fact, if you played the game long enough, you're forced to play Damien and Unka later on to continue the story. Dude, again, this is one of these women that's just like, oh no, they took away my woman. I'm so mad. It's like, okay, guys, give me a break. This game had zero problems that 2077 had on launch. 2077, look, you could complain about again, not everybody, DB Wild clearly had no problems. Some people didn't have any problems with it. You can complain about the controls, the movement, some of the things in like the tutorial part of Crimson Desert. You could complain about not having enough compelling story early on, but whatever. It didn't have anything in common with 2077's launch. Hey, Mr. Hardcore Mode. Crimson Desert had a healthy launch, fixes, yes, but they are just bitching just for the sake. I mean, that's what it feels like at this point. Look, I was concerned about the game prior to launch. I've played it now for a satisfying amount of time. The game's fun. It's gone from like an 8 out of 10 to it's moving up to like an 8.5 out of 10 in my opinion. It's never going to be a perfect game. There are very few things you can call perfect games. But the game's fun. It's not a broken mess. It runs like a dream for me. I have absolutely zero problems. Yeah, in the game, there's some stupid jank that comes up once in a while. It happens. It's jank. That's why it's not a 10 out of 10. I pre-ordered Cyberpunk and still haven't played it? Holy crap, man. That's insane. The audacity to compare the launch of CD to 2077. Clearly one had a fucking horrible launch, the other didn't. I mean, yeah, they're up to... So, going back to this, because I'm not going to go through this entire IGN article, guys. There's no point. The very premise is retarded and not worth, comparing the two. There are not the fixes that have to be made to make this a functional, enjoyable game. Dude, 2077 was a broken mess for a lot of people. Sure, you'd get that one person out of 100 with Cyberpunk who'd be like, oh, it runs fine for me. I've not seen any bugs. Everything's on high res and it looks great and blah, blah, blah. Great. He was like the one guy out of 100, Still haven't played it after I refunded it. They wanted to fix the story, they would need to release the DLC that would fix it. Well, so let's go into the shareholder statements because, oh my god, I remember all the people making jokes about CP. Let's just say 2077. Let's not type out CP. Especially talking about deleting it from your hard drive. Oh my god, I hate this world sometimes, the fact that certain abbreviations end up standing for certain things that you would never think about. CUP. When I got the game on Steam, I had zero problems with it. Yeah, without any issues even before the patches. Crimson played smoothly at 120 frames for me. Cyberpunk crashed on me and deleted my saves. Yeah. Yeah, cheese pizza instead, exactly. Marathon Conspiracy. We talked about it briefly on Wednesday. We will get into that... what time is it now? 10:30? Okay. We'll get through that. We'll get into it very soon here. It had to do with posts on Reddit. Basically about people being paid to post about it. Kind of sad you have to censor 2 letters. Oh, I'm not saying that you guys can't type the 2 letters. I'm just saying I hate the fact that everybody... that's always what it stands for now. When people want to talk about, like, you want to mention a story, you saw some news story about some pervert, right? So instead of typing out the words child blank, they just write that instead, So. Oh, no, data crash. I know that the posts are false. You're jumping the gun. That's why I put the word insane. Copy paste. There you go. All right. So Pearl Abyss's CEO said, I sympathize with the disappointment of the Red Desert. I love translations. The Crimson Desert story continued updates. We just call them PDFs now. Yeah, Data, we talked about it. Actually, Equilibrium, who's not here, he shared it on Discord, and we pulled it up and looked at it when I was playing Crimson Desert on Wednesday. And I was like, wow, that's crazy. I didn't do anything with it. I didn't make a video, go off on Twitter talking about it. Like, Grums around with it like, oh, we have definitive proof that there are paid actors to make Marathon seem more popular than it is. And it's like, within the next 12 hours, everybody knew it was just bullshit, but like, whatever. Look, Marathon has its loyal defenders. They are few, but they are loud. That's just kind of the reality of it. All right. This is kind of be a rough translation because the Korean to English translation doesn't do very well. It says, a week after the release of Red Desert shareholders meeting, we will deliver news of 5 million copies soon. During the development process, they wanted to implement multiplayer and switch to port. They're saying the same shit about Crimson Desert Defenders on Reddit. Are they? Here's the difference. Crimson Desert has 5 million sales. Almost. They're close to 5 million sales. It's a lot easier to rationalize that more people are enjoying something and they're going to defend it when there are easily 5 times the number of people playing it, Oh, yeah, Cage, exactly. Dude, perverts, the freaks, the weirdos, they ship them off to an island and then nuke the island after they all fight to the death. Just make sure that nobody makes it out alive. I mean, that's really what we've got to do at this point. All right, so it says here, Pearl Abyss announced it will strive to become a game loved for a long time regarding the AAA action-adventure game Crimson Desert, Red Desert, which was released this month and is causing a box office sensation. Is this Ho Jin Young? H-E-O Ho? I think it'd be how you pronounce it. I'm not Korean. CEO of Pearl Abyss said that this at the regular general shareholders meeting held at the Gwaichan. I don't speak these Asian languages. I'm terrible. I can pronounce Japanese words a lot better than like Korean or Chinese. I look at Korean and Chinese and I just can't. My mind goes blank. He said since its launch, Crimson Desert has continued to perform solidly, ranking first in Steam sales, receiving 240,000 concurrent users, and selling 3 million copies in 4 days. Based on user feedback, we'll further upgrade the game through continuous patches, including improved operation methods. Mention of new works to be presented. He said, we will not neglect the preparation of new works, such as, I don't know, this weird translation. In particular, Goblin is preparing to be released quickly after Crimson Desert, and the goal is to disclose the development status at an appropriate time. I don't know what Goblin is. Oh, Doki 5, whatever this is. In the Q&A that followed the shareholders meeting, questions poured in about the achievements of the launch of Crimson Desert and future plans. CEO said, I agree to some extent with the disappointment that users feel about the story. I wish we could have done well with the story. The production team tried to make up for the remaining time, but in the end, we focused on strengthening the gameplay, which we were good at. Devs are listening to gamers, what's happening, right? Crazy. I love them both. It's been a headache of a month for gaming. You know, Data Crash, that's okay. You're allowed to love it. I just personally, Marathon gives me a headache to look at. I hate the look of the game. If they had put Marathon into a different aesthetic, a different, like, reskin the game for me would have been 100% better, because I enjoyed the gameplay that I played in the server slime. It was cool. It was fun. It was fine. I hated the look of the weapons. I hated the bright colors. I hated the design of everything. I hated all of it. I don't like the aesthetic of it. It's this weird, creepy transhuman shit, and I'm not fond of it. You know. Oh, devs in a different country are listening. Got it. Yeah. Main character's more dynamic in their personality, so hopefully they'll step up their game in the future, right? Yeah, Cage, exactly. The toxic positivity over at Pearl Abyss, from some of the developers who said that basically a whole new team came in, they took over everything, they wouldn't listen to criticism, and so the game released broken. Okay, Skull Spotto over on Rumble. I don't care. It's fine. I'm not trying to build my Rumble audience. I'm only here because it's smart to have a backup. That's about it, man. Ubisoft, lame open worlds, Bungie, menus, the video game. Marathon puked in my one good eye. Oh my god. Okay. So no decision's been made about paid downloadable content regarding the release plan, but the response is that we will give weight to updates through free patches for the time being. The CEO responded, it's good to lead to expansion pack sales, but I think there are games that make money by selling more of the main story as the content expands. I want to make a strategic decision to ensure that the main story of Crimson Desert sells well. So this is, again, the most important part, I think. This is by far the most important part. He's saying, look, we need to make sure that the game itself is good enough to warrant people wanting to play it, wanting to buy it, continuing the sales of the game before we really worry about paid DLC. To me, that's a huge testament that it's like, hey, we understand that there are some things that we screwed up that are kind of lacking for some people, not quite meeting expectations for certain people. And we want to make sure those things get fixed before we even start pushing paid DLC. I think that's huge, right? Should have been a single player horror. Sam Fisher, I think part of what they could do in the future to maybe try to get a bigger audience is to add a single player mode. But God only knows if they have that in the works, you know? The perfect FPS to make my eyes bleed. Hey, Lucia. So yeah, Data Crash, the two things about Marathon, as somebody who played it, you kind of get used to it, but still, it's a little much on the eyes. Cluttered, confusing, definitely a lot going on as far as the UI and stuff goes. From the streamer perspective, I kind of get tired of hearing streamers going, oh, I'm sick of my viewers complaining about it. Look, it's not pleasant to look at. And streamers, that has nothing to do with even the game itself. If you played the game at home multiplayer, but you're playing on your own computer, you're not streaming it, you don't have an audience, you're just enjoying the game, fair enough. You enjoy the game, you like it, you're having fun. But streamers are entertainers. Their stream is being watched by X number of people who are coming there for entertainment. If the thing that they're looking at is not entertaining or it's hurting their eyes and it's unpleasant to view, you know, I'm tired of the streamers going, "Oh, shut up about it." Well, your job is a paid entertainer, right? It's just it's hard to watch for sure. Yeah, exactly. So, what Cage? You just said at T-Bone. I don't see anything. Okay, so moving on. Let's cover Voto really quickly. I did just release a video kind of going over all this stuff with Voto, but we'll talk about it briefly here because it is funny. It is funny. It's kind of funny. And one of these days, we'll have confirmation that the studio is done and they will never curse our computer screens ever again. But moving on, another review from AV Club saying 1348 Voto promises action and romance but falls medievally flat. Historical adventure. Why do they call it that? Why do they call it that? I completely get that sentiment. If what people are watching is hurting their eyes, they'll tune out. Let me say, at least you're entertaining. Look at that. Look at this funny guy. Look at this funny guy. Wow. So funny. Just for you, I'm not cutting my hair now. I'm just going to go like homeless. Character looks weak. Character looks hideous. Character looks awful. All right. Historical adventure. Tedious walking simulator with rote combat. Rote. What does that word mean? I used to know the meaning of that word. I assume boring. Boring, uninteresting, repetitive. Learning or memorizing information through mechanical repetition, often without understanding the meaning. Fair enough. Okay. Boycott soy girl. Mundane. Exactly. Tell me I have to entertain my audience to get paid. I thought I was supposed to tell them to shut up and just enjoy whatever I play. Yeah. I saw Burnt Peanut said something along those lines because people were questioning his viewership drop since he stopped playing Arc Raiders. I think he's lost like 30% of his viewers. And he's like, well, you know, I'm not going to play what people are trying to just like going to force me to play. And the core bungalators, they're here for me and all this other stuff. It's like, sure, your regular loyal viewers are going to turn up regardless of whatever it is you want to play. But don't start complaining in 6 months when your viewership is plummeted when you don't play games that people find interesting anymore. Your job is to be an entertainer. It's like an actor who continually makes bad movies and starts to go, why does nobody go watch my movies anymore? Play more bad games. Ride to Hell Retribution. Oh my god. Sam Fisher, it has to be his marathon stream exposed how boring Ark is. Ark is just like any other game where it's all about who you play with and how you play. If I turned on Arc Raiders right now and streamed it to you guys, you'd all be bored. 100%.
Topic, video, product, helps you, benefit, to keep viewers engaged.
Oh
Want
my
a free
god,
sample
dude.
for your next stream? Email me.
Every freaking day on Kick, on Twitch, anytime I stream, at some point I'll get that crap. Or emails. Oh my god, dude. Because I have a Shopify account for my website, I just got the other day one email in German and one email in, I don't even know the language it was. It was crazy. You know, it's just insane. Oh yeah, no, people got paid, dude. People got paid to play everything. I mean, Shroud has moved on from Marathon, and now he's talking about how, you know, Crimson Desert's the greatest game of all time. Guys, Shroud said that Arc Raiders should have been game of the year. Okay, just let that sink in. I get that it's fun, the Arc Raiders versus Marathon stuff, and as somebody who's played both, I think Arc Raiders is more enjoyable. Different strokes to different folks as far as the gameplay goes. But Shroud was just sucking, you know, Arc Raiders' dick last year, saying it was game of the year. So now the man is saying, you know, Marathon's the greatest game ever, got him by the balls, and now he's on to Crimson Desert. You can't take those people's opinion like very seriously. They're more at this point just whatever. Shooters never hitting game of the year? Probably not. I get the sort of post every time I post a new song from SoundCloud. Suddenly over 10 less viewers as you show the weak protagonist. Mari, I don't keep track of the live viewer count. I don't worry about that. Different strokes to different folks. Take it away. No, you don't want to let let DB Wild run with that. No way. All right. So again, I'm not going to go through another whole ass article talking about everything wrong with this game. We played this game for like 8.5 hours. There's no reason to subject ourselves to anything else regarding like what's wrong with this game, right? Yo, McKinney. Oh my God, epic layoffs, dude.
I love you. This many dollars worth.
Yeah, man, that's crazy.
Hey Tebow and chat, compiling the epic
Micro Dan.
layoffs, marathon sales, and Crimson Desert into one thesis video about the models in this industry breaking.
Good luck with that, dude. Although I was watching Legendary Drops video about the whole Fortnite Epic thing this morning, and it's crazy when you start realizing how many people at Epic were involved in like large decision making when it came to like what Fortnite was putting in their game, and they're all gone. It's like, okay, so basically Fortnite's dead is what we're saying. Like, I for years now I've been saying I don't like Fortnite as a game. I'd never play it, but I get it. I understand why it's so successful. And then they went ahead and laid off 1,000 people. It's crazy. Too many people are stroking me. Oh my God. But thanks for the 5, McKinney. Yeah, dude, that's going to be a hell of a lot to compile into one video. So good luck with that. Shortest of strokes for Dan. Yes, very short ones. Short, quick ones. Anyways, God. Currently playing 1348X Voto. Oh my God, guys. This might be... Did it hit 0 at some point? It hit 1. I am now convinced when this game gets down to 1 or 2 players that this is actually like the devs playing the game, or somebody's got it running in the background just to keep the game alive. All right. Lesbian Nights in Space. Yeah. I love games with 1 player. I'm lost in Crimson Desert like the rest of the hive mind. I need GTA 6. See, I'm not a GTA guy, so it's like whatever. I know people are going to love GTA 6, whether it sucks or not, it doesn't matter. People are still going to eat that game up. So, 12. Guys, stop giving me player counts or viewer counts. I don't want to know. Only 5 players. That's if they're even legitimate players, guys. Who even knows at this point? These could literally be the devs and their friends or family just running the game in the background. And here is why I say that, okay? You guys got to think about this. Let me show you some stuff. Now, if you watch the video before the live stream, you'll have already seen some of this. But here's where we're at with this game, okay? We're still sitting at mixed reviews, all right? The thing about the mixed reviews are that 529 number, none of this has changed. None of this has changed significantly in the past 2 weeks. There's legit, like hardly any reviews coming in that are new. So let's filter this to date range, lifetime, no, playtime, no, display, most recent, all right? Posted today, that's 4, 5. Product received for free, and they gave it a negative. How did they get it for free? I looked for this game everywhere to get a free copy so I wouldn't have to buy it. All right, 5 reviews today. That's it. All right. Now, for a small indie game, 5 reviews in one day is not bad. This game got far more hype and news coverage than any other indie game practically ever. This one did not deserve it, right? Has 1 more live player than Deathborn right now. Oh my God. Gifted, maybe. That's very possible. All right. So going from there, if we then go to the community tab. No more of that. No more of that. I can't. Let's go to discussions, because here was the funniest thing. Here's the funniest thing. Where was it at? I think it was in this thread right here. Now, they have put out a patch as recently as March 25th to try to address some of the bugs. So this guy is saying devs have abandoned Voto. Not entirely true. They have, in fact, been doing updates and patches. Now, he put this out, this posted date for this is March 24th. So technically, when he posted this, he wasn't wrong. There hadn't been a patch, I think, for like a week. However, you go down here in the replies. There was this one person. I want to show you this right here. Okay. This person going, not like you were going to in the first place, but they've given y'all a place to rant about your insecurities and resentments, so at least give them that. Same person goes on to say, you know, other shit about how the game's good and you guys just are whatever. This one person has played this game for almost 19 and a half hours. Now, this is if you're not streaming it, if you're not screwing around like we did, talking, goofing off, checking things out, trying to break the game while you're playing it, whatever. This one person somehow has played this game for close to 20 hours. I ran about my insecurities here, fair enough. How has one person played this game, this 6-hour game, for 20 hours? That means that this person's probably replayed it. That means that while we have these recurring player counts of 25 people for a 24-hour peak, this person is playing it over and over. Yeah, they gave you a forum, be grateful, forum that they locked down and is actually free on Steam. They're AFK, sat at the menu. Right, exactly. What's even in this game to make up those hours? There's not. So you could spend time exploring for like the other pieces of the sword parts and all that. We only found like 60% of the sword parts. This isn't even it, guys. Odds are she didn't beat the game. If it is a woman, it probably isn't actually a biological woman, but who knows? All right. So beyond that, the one that I showed in my video, if we go back to the general discussions, there's one that none of these are locked. The devs, the moderators are no longer locking the discussion threads. However, there is one right here, one that is locked, and I found that interesting, right? Paid count hours. I don't think they're being paid to leave the game running. I think it's just more a matter of the game's running in the background, and therefore it counts as played time, right? The one that's locked is, has there been any announcement about character customization? The game looks interesting, but I don't know. I don't want to walk with a bowl cut. Is it possible to change appearance? Maybe dreadlocks or a mohawk or something. This wasn't what this said earlier when I read this. I don't know. That's weird. Okay. If someone funds me, I'll work on a reskin mod that makes Aita a beach volleyball player. If it makes you feel better, she changes hairstyle through the story during the last 3 out of 9 chapters. Dude, I'm seeing comments that weren't here earlier. How did these comments all randomly appear? When I recorded my video 2 hours ago, this isn't what this said, and these 2 comments weren't here, but this thread was still locked. I'm so confused. Has anyone ever seen that, where a locked discussion thread on Steam, where comments will suddenly appear that weren't there previous? Literally, the number 1 and number 2 comments weren't there earlier. Like I said, that person's likely a 1348 dev. Well, okay, so the person who locked the thread is this developer here that says character customization is not available, right? That's all they said. It's lesbian space magic made the post appear. I don't know. They unlocked a lot of threads because they need the interaction and engagement. Right, exactly. Let me go back to the discussion. Maybe it was a different one. Let me go back to the first page here. No. So the other thread, that has to be the same one, because it was in the first page when I recorded it. That's crazy. Guys, there's more discussion going on about this game than people actually playing it. That's the craziest thing. All right. Going beyond that, and the part that really matters, the part that's the most important, right? If we get into, let me see here, where are we at? Community. Oh, global achievements. Where were those at? Hang on a second. Global achievements. And back to store page. No, don't autoplay. Do not autoplay. I don't ever check achievements. Where the hell were those at? View all 19. Here we go. This is the part that matters. I told myself I'm not allowed to go there because I'd be the biggest troll. I mean, it happens, dude. Game of the year material. Dustborn, 4 players. 5 players for 1348. High guard, 6 players. I mean, 6 players for high guard. The game's pulled offline. So, I mean, it is what it is. They can't do anything about it, right? Might not be a biological woman's a real life term. Dude, you can never be too careful, man. You can never be too careful. All right. Here's the thing that matters most. There are 19 achievements for this game, okay? A total of 19 available. I have most of them. Chapter 1 is just the prelude. That's the tutorial. 70%. So 30% of people, we'll round it down and say 29% of people haven't beaten the tutorial who have this game. Chapter 2, barely more than half, 55.9% have completed Chapter 2. You get down to Chapter 3, and only 35% of people have beaten Chapter 3. This is a 6-hour game. 6-hour game. And there's like 11 chapters, all right? It only has 22% average completion out of 191 game owners. Only 14 are platinum achievers. Dude, it's worse It's worse on Steam. We'll get there. It's worse on Steam. Okay. Let's scroll ahead. So chapters 5 and the achievement Blade Master, perform 5 perfect attacks in a row, are both at 27.4%. Sorry, that's chapter 4, yeah, in Blade Master. Chapter 5 is less than 25% have completed it. You get down to chapter 6, we're under 20%, 18.8. Chapter 7, 16.9, giggity. Chapter 8, 15%. We still got 2 chapters to go. 2 chapters to go. All right, 6-hour game, maybe 7 if you take it slow, 8 or 9 if you stream it. Get all the way down here to chapter 9 and ex voto complete the game. 13.5%. What you are proving is what people already know. Only people who went through this whole ass game are those who streamed it for the support in their chatters to show how bad a game it is. Most likely people stopped playing and refunded. Yes. I looked at their achievements and they finished the game in 8 hours. I have no idea how they... So, how they have a total of 20 hours is these are people who played the game multiple times because they either wanted to make the game look more popular than it was, support the devs, counter the argument that nobody's playing it, whatever it was. Yeah, only 13% of people who played this game, who own this game, 13.5% for being charitable, actually completed the game. We didn't support it and Dan played it. Lies. No, most of you didn't support it. Most of you were like, what the hell's wrong with you? To be fair, though, I don't know that it was better or worse than Hellblade 2. Hellblade 2 was pretty awful. Is it so hard to find 2 attractive lesbians? Why do they have to be attractive? Remember, that's what their Twitter account said. Why does a female character need to be attractive? Because he got something wrong with him, like he just said. It was pretty much that's. Hey, you know what? It was some of the most fun we've had on this channel in a long time, so I can't even complain. Ooh, Saint. Defeat the final boss without receiving health damage, 0.6%. Knight. Complete the game without dying. Oh my god. That would be funny to try to do that all over again. The chicks aren't hot, then it won't sell. There's one thing. Okay, so I'm pretty... why does it specify health damage? Well, I'm trying to think. If you're blocking... There's games, obviously, where you have stamina-based blocking or parrying, guarding, whatever, and if you run out of stamina, like Valheim, for example, then you take damage. I don't know why it's specified the way that it is, but whatever it is, it's a very, very, very... It's a fraction of a percent that actually accomplished that. That's crazy. Is there clothing damage? Yeah. It's a very weird way of phrasing it. I don't know. Yeah, so basically the game is just cooked at this point. Shields, block damage. Extremely disgusting today. Looking, it doesn't go with the story. Looks matter. Oh, you mean Cliff? Yeah, Cliff. Well, yes and no. Okay, here's a fun. Let's bring it back to Crimson Desert for a second before we talk about Marathon. So here is something really fascinating, right? In all the conversation about Crimson Desert, the boring protagonist, the boring story, blah, 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 we then get people like this on our side that kind of just suck all the oxygen out of the room. I don't want to be a Cliff maker. Well, and it's not just Cliff, it's Cliff with a K, so you had the right letter, just the wrong name. Parry damage, etc., something like that. Yeah, exactly. And Stellar Blade has 4,000 current players right now. You know, the funny thing is I didn't find Stellar Blade that interesting, but it's also a lot harder to stream because it's more of a, I don't want to say Souls-like, my God. It's more like, Devil May Cry, I guess, or First Berserker. Hard to play and interact with your audience because you have to really focus on timing and stuff. That being said, this is what I'm talking about right here. This account, and it says it in the name, Geralt of Gunia, right? It's... He doesn't have any ambition to hide that this is all he cares about. He cares about, upskirts and panty shots in games. This is what this guy, if you can't do this in a mature game, he's going to say it's DEI or woke or whatever. Okay. There are people like that exist. You saw this post. Makini, as an artist, I would be curious to hear your thoughts on this one because my thoughts on it, this is a stupid thing to complain about. And here's why. There are plenty of games like Stellar Blade that exist for the purpose of fan service, having hot girls in skimpy outfits. And there's a whole genre of games like that that exist. I mean, look at that Nikkei game, right? I think it's Nikkei. It's not Nikki, whatever. Goonie makes the games go round. So it's one thing to be like, okay, there's a game that used to exist where the character's running around in a skirt and when she twirls, you can see her underwear or whatever, right? No, Smeg, I don't think so. This is this guy's entire shtick. Okay. Yeah, Chun-Li. You know, those kind of games. And then they put pantyhose on Chun-Li or yoga pants or whatever to make sure you couldn't see her underwear, right? Nothing says celebrate developer panty shots. Yeah. So the thing about it is, a lot of those games, they'll be like, oh no, we have to fix that because we shouldn't be allowing men to look up a girl's skirt. So they'll put like shorts on the girls or whatever, you know, cover up the underwear, right? I get it from the censorship angle, but this is a choose your battles wisely scenario. Exactly. So in this situation, he says, here's your rated M video game from Korea, Crimson Desert. Best we can do is safety shorts. Absolutely pathetic display. What he's talking about, this is Twitter. Yes. Twitter's not a real place. What he's talking about is the fact that this character in a medieval fantasy where there's no reason for her to be running around in a thong. Not that there's anything wrong with that if it's in that game. Look at the characters in Soul Calibur, right? Look at the Soul Calibur girls. Look at a lot of the original Street Fighter characters. That's just the motif of the game. That's the style of the game. Nothing wrong with that. This particular game, it's not the style of the game, you know? Well, DB Wild, as far as like the realism goes, I've heard people complain about this because Black Desert Online, I guess, had a lot skimpier outfits. Oh, and it's cool armor. See, I look at this and go, that's really cool, awesome armor. And it looks good on her. So what's the problem? His problem is this. The shorts. If you can even call these shorts, right? Had no idea they were alt skins for Damien, but at the same time, this is developers of BDO who are way more fans for seeing their armor. That'll make it gooder worthy. I guess I'm too much of a dad because my eyes never went to the crotch. Yeah, Makini, I mean, or Lixel, that's the thing is like for me personally, that's not the first thing I'm looking for. Now, if a character's in a short skirt in a game and she jumps and you see her ass cheeks, you're going to notice it, right? Doesn't mean that you were looking for it. Doesn't mean there's anything wrong with that. It just, if it's part of the style of the costume, you're going to notice it. Your eyes are going to be naturally drawn to that. You go, oh, cool. Okay, whatever. I do get the shorts are silly in this context. I have no problem with them in the context because it's not, I don't know. I look at it and go, a lot of the armor in this game looks like really cool fantasy armor, but still has enough ground. Look at the armor that the guards are wearing walking around town. There's a lot of like actual realistic medieval looking armor in the game. So it's not going full on fantasy where chicks are running around topless, basically in duct tape or electrical tape, you know? There's a sense of realism in the design of a lot of the weapons and the armor. Now, there is some very fantastical stuff that I've seen, obviously. So I don't know. They don't have medieval nylon. No, but they got mechs and all that, right? Crimson Desert feels like Assassin's Red Dead where Winds meet Tsushima Forspoken Horizon mashup on steroids. I look at it as cool armor as well, yeah. So CD being a single player game was not sold on that, so why have it? Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I need to notice the jiggle for science. The outfit's very first thing I'm noticing. Sure. So, I mean, I look at this kind of stuff and go, I don't understand why this is... I get it. The whole censorship thing, the Sweet Baby Ink, the desanitization, the women can't be hot, you can't have skimpy outfits. Look, I'm on board with all that. There's a massive problem with, like, the puritanical woke retards who are saying that a woman can't be attractive because a man might be turned on by it. You know, safe horny, right? Wait, what? I thought the Crimson Desert game was just medieval. Then the shirts are fine if they have mechs. Yeah, I mean, so... I don't know, dude. I think it's just one of those weird things. They have period accurate G-strings, bad part if it was on guys, yeah. We'll have nude mods for Desert and Thirst will be endless. I mean, why is that stuck? It's a primarily PC game. So people are going to have mods. So this seems like a weird thing to complain about. He's also drawn comparisons. If we go back, I think, let me go back to the previous one. No, that's not going to be it. Here we go. Actually, I've got it right here. So this was his entire point. Crimson Desert developer Pearl Abyss's ESG efforts. Not surprising that they didn't give Damien anything outside of safe horny, if that. Here's an outfit from Black Desert, their previous game. We could have had this in Crimson Desert. So here they have an ESG report, right? The DEI crap going back as far as June 23rd of this last year. All right. Not cool, but you know, bullshit that these big companies do. Metal boobies. I do understand that angle completely. My stance is that the armor's cool, but it does sound like it's coming from the angle of toning down the original designs. It's disappointing horny nowadays. Yeah. Though Pearl Abyss is trying to be realistic, they were selling TNA heavy and BDO. It sure seems like they toned down the game from the stuff. Well, but Black Hat, my thing is they can tone down the game all they want to if they're going to go for a different style. You know? Bankruptcy! My point is that the games are two different styles, which they seem to be based on what we've seen so far.
Has become. I'm not represented in every game, everywhere. How dare they not include a balding FFAT man?
I mean, Smeg, there's short guys in games, but they're all dwarves. Why is that? Why are the short ones all dwarves and hobbits? Why can we not have like a Giga Chad 5'6" guy, you know? Thanks for the 5, Smeg. So here's where I take issue with this. If this is his representation, it means feminists don't wear G-strings. Feminists probably wear boxer shorts. They probably wear like wife beaters and have armpit hair longer than mine. If this is his example, he's complaining about the shorts under the armor, okay? Now, I'll admit, I hate the whole safety short looking thing too. I agree with that. The safety shorts are stupid. You know, you could give her some sort of more tasteful like type of briefs or underwear or whatever, and it would look better. Cosmetic design, it sucks. It's weird. But it's also the last thing I'm typically looking at in a game where I'm primarily playing a male character. They give you a female character to play as a secondary option, and she has some awesome looking armor and stuff. I don't know. It's not something where my eyes automatically drawn there. But if this is your comparison, first off, yes, this is a much sexier outfit. It's going for much more sex appeal. But this to me looks like one of those things where it's like she got like the tights on or whatever with like the one leg with the fishnets and stuff. This isn't wearing a G-string. Now, I don't know what the back of this outfit looks like. He didn't post a picture of the back. So I don't know if it is a G-string on the back or not. I'm just saying based off of this one outfit, that's kind of a bad example because I don't think that this is actually as nearly as revealing as they probably... Like, look at First Descendant, guys. First Descendant, they're basically running around in pasties and G-strings. I mean, that's all that really is in that game. It's all Dinklage's fault. I am slightly taller than Peter Dinklage. Zero HUD option and photo mode is in beta. Is there a photo mode? I'm not even sure. This is a tame one. Yeah, see, I didn't play Black Desert, so I didn't know how... Was it more like First Descendant than I imagine? My thing is that since this is on PC, the mods will take care of that already, so I'm not completely bothered, though I get it. Yeah, I mean, if they did this for a specific reason to be all like, oh, well, we can't have... We don't want the game journalists to attack our game, then yeah.
Tangible thing that you can point to.
Yo,
and say,
Lixel
"Hey,
with the
man,
20.
I love you. This many dollars worth."
Oh my god.
+1 for a hobbit in a G-string hiding from Darth lesbian looking for the Borg.
I don't even know what to do with all that, man, but holy shit, thanks for the 20, dude. Appreciate you guys. I mean, look, just for hanging out, I appreciate you guys. I know that a lot of times my topics will be random, and sometimes we won't have a very cohesive stream put together, but anytime you guys show up, I'm cool with it. It's great. But yeah, thanks for the 20, dude. +1 for a hobbit in a G-string hiding from Darth lesbian looking for the Borg. I don't even know what to do with that, but I like it. Now I'm curious, guys. I'm curious now because I'm not gonna do the thing I did that one time where we pulled up that Rule 34 Wraith from Apex Legends artwork, we'll call it. But I'm gonna look up Black Desert Online's outfits, female armor. I got to give this a cursory glance to make sure we're not going to get in trouble. Let me see. +50 for goth short stack goblin girlfriends. Oh my god. This is a show. So, you know, Cage calls it a show. He's always asking, like, show tonight? I'm like, man, you're giving me way too much credit calling it a show. All right, so I think we're safe for the most part. But if I'm being honest, if anybody knows a specific armor set for me to look up, then I'll look it up. But I'm not seeing. I'm actually okay. Some of these are more revealing, sure, but like it's on a screen, it's a show. Fair enough, Serrano. Like, I get what you guys are saying. Some of these definitely there's more cleavage or there's more hip or leg, but like comparing that to where was that post at? I might have gotten rid of it. Damn. I don't know. Like, from what I'm seeing here, I don't see that. Like this one here, probably, yeah. Cliff obviously has the most armor sets in the game. Well, sure, he's the actual main character. That's called research. Stan Lee from Marvel never had to go through all this anti-sexy woman era. Yeah, no. Stan Lee was old and his mind was going long before a lot of this stuff really got hammered into entertainment. I'm curious what the durability of said G-string would be. I don't know. A lot of these armor sets can fit right into Vindictus as well. Guys, I am in with Vindictus. I got into this closed online or this closed build of the game that they're going to let a select number of people into. I got invited into it, and fighting cowboys in there. I don't know if you guys know who that dude is. There are people with like accounts that are like 10 followers and people that have like 300,000. I'm like, oh my god. I think ML is asking for more Gorlock in games. Oh my god, no Gorlock. Please, no Gorlock. No. Lucky. Well, I mean, dude, I don't know why. I played it before. I wasn't very thrilled with the early build of the game that I played. I streamed it, in fact, last year at some point. It was kind of rough around the edges. But no, there's like some big ass like content creators in there. And a few. The funny thing is, Fighting Cowboy has me blocked on Twitter. And here we are in the same Discord. I'm like, oh, hello. Oh my god. Tried Vindictus. So this is Vindictus Defying Fate. This is the next one that's coming out. It's still in development. They had like an early playtest of it last year, and it wasn't great. The combat. Remember I got stuck in a rock or something just trying to walk around. It was crazy. But this is one of those things I can't show gameplay. I can't take screenshots. I can't, I think I can share my thoughts once it's over. It doesn't happen until April. But at least I'll get to be able to play it and see for myself how the game's developing. But yeah. So, I mean, I get it. The armor sets in this game obviously are more revealing. But I don't think that these are the level of, like, First Descendant, to be honest, I don't know. I think this is a healthy balance of fantasy, like that sexy fantasy and medieval armor. Whereas I think with just Crimson Desert, they were going for more of a, I don't want to say grounded, because I know it is fantasy, there's mechs and everything. I'm not trying to say they were going hyper realistic. I'm not saying that. I just think that they're two different styles, even though they are connected, same developer and all that. I don't know. That's just kind of like my retard level take on it. Stanley gave most of his characters the same first and last initial in their names to try and keep... dude, it makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense. These armor sets are tastefully revealing. Okay, so let me ask you. Let me... I think I'm safe to click on one of these. I'm just worried about what's going to be down below. This one here. All right. My question is, if this guy, Geralt of Gunia, is hyperfixating on the panty shot itself, right? If it's, why do you have shorts in these characters? You should be able to see the panties. I mean, I'm assuming if you jump around in this character, you probably see underwear. I didn't see any nudity. I know, Serrano, I got to be careful. The one time I thought it'd be fine, I down in the bottom corner of the screen, there was some Wraith from Apex Legends getting smashed by Hulk fantasy, like Rule 34 shit. And luckily it didn't show anything, but he was like right behind her. We know exactly what's below. Oh my god, Smeg, did you watch the Kino Casino 3-hour video? I have never in my life watched a Kino Casino video. Like, never. I've seen tiny clips. Dude. That was... Wow. Hulk smash never pass. I could not believe the shit that they were going over with the quartering. Like, my VR golf censored underneath the skirts of girls when I looked into it. Oh my god, Mari, you degenerate. Why would you do that? Sent you a DM of a female armor set that should be in Crimson Desert. All right, hang on. Browsing analyst? Analyst? That sounds terrible. Has the worst search function I've ever used. Like 50% of the time I put in anything the show I was looking for wouldn't show up, just hentai. I can imagine why with words like that. Seeing some BB big black gorilla balls. Oh my god. Oh, someone's trying to get into my Instagram. Cool. All right, hang on. Twitter or Discord? Oh, Discord. Okay. I got you. Only Crimson Desert armor allowed for females. Oh my god. Yeah, that's definitely a mod, I would say. Good lord. I'll save that as my background. No. Probus plays its card right and handles it properly. Crimson Desert can become the new Skyrim. I don't know, guys. As much as I'm enjoying Crimson Desert, I feel like that it still has something holding it back from really... I don't know. It could be the fact that it's third person versus first person, and for so many years, those really, like, in-depth RPG-style games, open world exploring, and all that fun stuff, typically took a more... I mean, look, you could play those games in third person, but let's be honest. Playing Morrowind in third person was ass. It was terrible. So one commenter told me to check, so I got curious. Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, guys. Like, I think that this is one of those things that is not... Like, I don't want to excuse it, but I'm looking at it like, if this is their original design and they chose to make it that way, fair enough. If they had a different design and they censored it, now that's an issue. I think that's kind of where I draw the line as far as that goes. Let me see. All right, let's talk about real quick, because I did want to touch on this because we did bring it up. There's great potential if they actually constantly update the game. Oh, yeah. Here's the funny thing. I have no interest in them doing, like, in playing multiplayer on Crimson Desert. I play most of my games by myself. If it's a multiplayer game, it's a PvP game where I jump in, play a few rounds, jump back out. Arc Raiders, Insurgency, any other Starship Troopers, any of my shooter games, PvP games, I'm just jumping in, playing a few matches, and I'm done. I don't need multiplayer for my single-player games. For me, there's no appeal. Has no effect on me whatsoever. ESG is not just for them, it's for all of us. Agreed. Yeah. It kind of does pull you away from the character. Are we talking about the shorts underneath the outfit? Oh, I can't speak, guys. A good point about third person pulls you away from the character. Well, because in third person, you're not the character anymore. You're watching the character, you know? There's something to that. Games that are... Think about it. What's scarier to play? A horror game in first person or a horror game in third person? I would argue it's always going to be scarier in first person because you're looking at it through like the eyes of the character. Then you take it to like the next level where you do VR and it's literally your eyes, you know? Yeah, what is that? That Doke V or whatever it is. Jesus H. Pirate Yakuza has this HR guy playing out scenes and I have to call out the Wookiee fractions. What? Horror game in first person, but I generally prefer third person. Yeah. Yeah, this story is 100% fake as far as I know. Which is funny because a lot of people ran with it. Look, I get it. For those of us who don't like Marathon, it's fun to dunk on it. But you have enough material to work with without making shit up. That's the thing. This is where I drew the line with like John Della Rose and Fandom Pulse, where I was like, I'm done with you guys. I'm cutting the cord. I'm walking away. I blocked him and I moved on, which is crazy because Fandom Pulse is still around. I saw the Quartering responding to one of their posts earlier and somebody else quote tweeted and I'm like, I muted their account. I blocked John Trent. I blocked John Della Rose. I'm like, I don't want to hear from you guys ever again. Fuck off. But when you have to make up things because the news alone isn't salacious and spicy enough, so you have to straight up lie, that's where I'm like, that's just not worth it, guys. You know? All right, McKinney, thanks for stopping by, buddy. Appreciate it. Watch the Dokev trailer from 2 years ago. It's like a Pokemon title. I assumed it was something like that. Multiplayer co-op, since there are 3 main characters to bounce between. I mean, that would work if you basically restrict everybody to picking one character to play. My question was like, without a character creator screen, how are you going to have multiplayer? Are you all going to be Cliff or Unker or whatever? That would be weird, you know. Dokev's Crimson Desert for kids. Oh, interesting. They see you don't actually see with your eyes. It's the data that the brain translates. The next VR is tapping into the neurons in the brain. Have fun with that. I'm going nowhere near that. Nobody's touching my brain unless I have like a tumor that has to be operated on to save my life. No. Any of those neural implants, making yourself a cyborg, none of that shit. I'm not going anywhere. No. So anybody are doing great by themselves. Game slowly losing numbers. And Sam Fisher, the thing about it is, I understand that the people playing Marathon, I mean, look, Data Crash here loves Marathon. I understand people playing Marathon are having a great time and enjoying the game themselves. I'm not going to tell them that they're wrong, that the game sucks, that they're not really enjoying it. People, enjoyment of something is subjective, or not subjective, objective. I can say subjectively, the majority of people, no, wait. Subjective, objectively, the majority of people don't like watching Marathon. I think we all agree on that. So it's a tough game to keep viewers. And so for the audience of like streamers and stuff that would create a little bit more hype around the game. Look, I don't give Burnt Peanut all the credit for Arc Raiders doing well. But sure, people watching him playing the game, choosing to play the game because they watched him or trying to jump into a match with him, that does encourage a certain number of people to play the game. A game that's less enjoyable to watch, less people are going to talk about, they're going to have less enthusiasm about, and therefore it might result in less people, you know. The game is a hard grind for sure, and that's going to chase away a certain amount of people. Look, my thing with Marathon has never been that anybody needs to tone down the game. People who are like, the end game is too hard. No. I'm okay with Escape from Tarkov being the most unenjoyable, miserable, pain in the ass game that has ever existed, and the most merciless, brutal experience that makes you depressed to play. Because there are people that enjoy that. They don't need to cater to people who don't want to play that. There's enough other games out there that if that game is brutal and painful and miserable and people aren't having fun, don't tone it down. If that's the way you want the game to be, then that's fine. So Marathon being more difficult than other people like would be enjoying it, yeah, their enjoyment levels, you know, for some reason ruined by how hard the game is. I don't think that that's a factor that they need to worry about as much. I think it's just the fact that the game doesn't have as much appeal for a wide variety of reasons. Hot nuts. No, I got tongue-tied there, man. I'm not going to lie. Tarkov isn't as brutal. I can give you the true brutality of Malice. Oh, no, Time Takers. Time Takers, Horizon Hunters Gathering, Fair Games, if it ever comes out. Those are actual Concordian levels of disaster that will happen. Don't worry. We will have Concord 3. It just won't be Marathon. Barcode tattooed to the back of your neck.
It's a strange transition I've seen in my lifetime. Open world, PvP games where about endgame and bugger all story. Now people want a movie game.
Yeah, it is a weird thing. And thanks again for the 5 smeg. The whole conversation about in-game for games that have like, for example, I remember watching back in the day when I still watched Upper Echelon, his review of Amazon's New World. There was a lot of talk about how the fact that there was not any end-game content for that game ruined the game for the vast majority of players. Now, as somebody that played Guild Wars and then the 2 subsequent expansions and then the Heart of the North expansion, there wasn't really end game. There was, sure, you could go into did they call it the Abyss or the Underworld? Dude, it's been so many years since I played Guild Wars. I think it was the Underworld where you farm ectoplasm and stuff. And so there was end game stuff, but basically it turned into a loop where all you did was go with parties of people or do solo farming to get resources to craft your higher level armor, and that was it. And Guild Wars had a lot of success for a long time too without any end game content. I don't know. I just kind of feel like that's one of those things where it's an easy excuse for why something fails is not enough end game content. For me personally, I'm like, I could play the same shooter day in and day out where I'm just, I shoot them, or they kill me, I kill them. It's whatever, It's a creature capture game. It was their next game before they paused development to get Crimson out the door for that genre. It has hype behind it. Interesting. I'm hearing about it. I just know nothing about it, Get to max level and participate in world, PvP, etc. Right, Smeg. So after you did everything in Guild Wars, you would then move into PvP. Enjoy, like, do the arenas where you just do like a lot of PvP and stuff. Play EverQuest. I don't think so, man. I don't think so. No way. The in-game for New World was PvP, and the PvE players lost their minds. So Wise Ass Duck, I played, hey Empress, I played New World for probably about 30, 35 hours. Something about it just didn't really click, didn't really resonate, you know? And I don't know what it was, because everything in the game felt pretty well thought out. I thought New World was interesting. I thought it played well. It just couldn't keep me around, you know? We're not going to be the guys tearing stuff up. We'll be the people being thrown in jail for a violation of verbal morality statute. Hey, Demolition Man. Hell yeah. You can't take away people's rights to be assholes. Around 2,000 hours, I was in the pre-alpha before the game was even on Steam. Oh my god, man. That's a lot of hours for one game. I put 2,000 hours into Guild Wars in 1 year. And that's the most amount of hours I've ever put into a single game in a year. In-game content caters only to certain people. Look at the so-called in-game content for No Man's Sky. It doesn't really exist. Game becomes 100% exploration game in the in-game. I heard the horrible JDA name in his left ass cheek, Trent. What did I miss? Oh, I saw Fandom Pulse pop up somewhere. We were talking about this marathon thing, the fake Reddit post about paid people being paid to post about marathon to try to like create hype for the game, and it was all fake apparently. And what my point was, when I split from JDA and Trent, it was when they were making up shit about Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. And I'm like, look, if there's already problems, you don't need to make up a problem. You know, if something's already bad, you don't have to lie to make it worse than it is. So that's all that was about. And then, of course, I came across Fandom Pulse on Twitter today. Somebody retweeted them. I'm like, I thought I had them blocked. I guess I just had them muted. What's funny is that Kotaku's pretending to do their job for once. No, what's funny about that is, and this isn't even like really worthy of much conversation, nothing that we haven't said before. You know, the headline says it all. Some people are so desperate to hate Marathon. Again, a little biased there. They've embraced a fake conspiracy about paid Reddit posts. Some folks on the internet have fallen for a very obviously fake story about Sony and Bungie paying people to promote Marathon on Reddit. Look, there's two things to this. One, was it highly suspect from the very beginning that these Reddit posts were fake? Absolutely. Well, they were Discord posts about a Reddit, Reddit thread. Two, do you believe that any of these major companies don't pay people to have bot farms talk? Look, Master of the TDS, he got really famous before he really had much YouTube traction on Twitter because he would uncover these bot farms, right? All the big companies, Disney, Sony, HBO, Netflix, Amazon, every single one of these companies would pay bot farms, or at least if there was no connection via money, there was at least the implication, because these bot farms would show up anytime there was a new movie, a new game, a new whatever that they had to promote, right? And it worked like clockwork that they all operated within the same system. So clearly it was a farm, a network of bots. So of course, Sony or Bungie paid somebody to promote this game, whether it's a bot farm or real people. Yeah, they have marketing teams for this. Exactly. Whether it's legitimate, underhanded, real people, bots, it's irrelevant because they all do it. They all do it. Now, I will say that as I can take it out I can take it as well as I can give it, but I have experience with the Marathon defenders where the majority of them, if you complain about the game, say you've got shitty taste in art and you're just bad at video games, and so you're basically stupid. And it's like, all right, that's certainly a hell of a take. Calling people stupid all the time because they don't like the look or feel of a game, that's not going to help with your, game doing better. That's certainly not it. You have dignity, they just pretend. I mean, if I was paid to say something, I would say, hey, I got paid for this, by the way. Why would you not flex that? If you got people paying you money for an opinion, why would you not flex that you got paid for it? That's like, hey, you made it big time, right? So you can only take a couple of inches. DB Wild, you know it, man. You know it. Sung Soo. Is that how you spell Sung Soo? We're talking about Art of War, right? Hang on a second. I gotta go check now. 1 second. I knew that wasn't it. I got my plastic back edition. It's Sun Tzu. You know, the funny thing is, I bought this around the time I got like my copy of 1984 and Animal Farm and Brave New World. Loved all those books. I went through them all in about a month. I have never read Art of War. No typo in stimulation. Oh, I just wanted to make sure it was the right one. Know thy bad guy though. They need to put that in here in the old English. Know thy bad guy. I don't think we have that one in here. Let me see. Let's grab a random proverb out of here. Okay, hang on a second. We've got no maneuvering. That's way too long. There's got to be a shorter one. There's weak points and strong energy. The army on the march. Here we go. Let's pull number 17 from the army on the march. If in the neighborhood of your camp there should be any hilly country, ponds surrounded by aquatic grass, hollow basins filled with reeds, or woods with thick undergrowth, they must be carefully routed out and searched, for these are places where men in ambush or insidious spies are likely to be lurking. Oh my. How take story time. No, man, Leon over at Words of Paradise, he would do that where if somebody donated like $50 or something, he would read like a whole page of that milking farm, that female romance novel, bestiality, nasty stuff. And I'm like, dude, why would people pay you to read that? That's crazy, man. Anytime I think of Sun Tzu, I think of Soldier from TF2, Meet the Characters. You mean Team Fortress 2, not Titanfall 2, right? Because I never played Team Fortress 2. Anytime someone says TF2, my brain goes Titanfall 2. Oh, appreciate that, Bleak. Honestly, the last month has been good to me with all the Voto stuff, and then now I'm working my way back to my usual algorithmic rut, which I'll be in for a while. Plus, real life is going to get busy for me, so it'll be really hard to keep up with it. But I'm glad you're here. Appreciate it. TF2 is always TF2 because Titanfall's a dead franchise. Oh man, don't say that. That hurts. That's really... No. Don't follow his footsteps. You'll have the online personality of Danielle. You know, the funny thing about that, there was this girl on my daughter's softball team last year that, because I helped coach, and I was, again, the short coach, although her head coach was about 5'7", so not much taller than me. Like, literally like an inch taller than me. But this girl, she called me Coach Daniela, and then this other girl called me Tiny Coach Dude the entire time. I'm too addicted? Oh, dude, you guys are too awesome. Nobody should be addicted to me, though. Not even me. Man with single hand in pocket feel cocky, but man with both hands in pockets feel cocky twice. I don't think that's Sun Tzu. Tiny Coach Dude should be your online name. Oh my god. Oh, dude, Smeg. The funny thing is, I actually really enjoy it. I find like all the shit talk funny. No joke. So my daughter tried to move up from the AAA division to the majors division, and she didn't make the cut. And turns out like none of the younger girls got moved up to majors. So she's in AAA this one more year until next year. We were practicing on the practice field a couple days ago, and the majors team showed up, and most of these girls were taller than me. And I'm looking at the coach like, how old are they? He's like, oh, it's like 12. He's like, most of those girls were 11. I'm like, are you serious? Yo, Serrano, we got another shorty. Patriot went to bed, but we got DB, Serrano. Hey, you got 3 inches on Mlixelplix if you're 5'6", man. That's where we all are. Girls. Yeah, no, actual biological softball team. It's Little League. Yeah. Yeah, no, but again, you got to remember oh, yeah, no, we don't, hey, Quill Pig, we don't do that over here in my city. My kids have been in Little League for 5 years now. I'm trying to think of how many years my son has been in, because he's 13 now. We've never run into that, where we've had to have that situation, that awkward, yo, is that a boy playing? Well, there's the boys that have like the long hair because they think it's cool. It's those kids that want to be like baseball players for real. About the same girth. Oh my god. Lucia 54, guys, this is why this is the best channel ever. And I say that biased, but look how many short people we got here. I love it. It's like The short people are gravitating towards each other. It's great. I do get the excuse of being half Hispanic. Could be worse, honestly. Well, for me, I just go back to the whole, my mom's side is Irish Italian, and Irish and Italian, they don't typically tend to be like really tall people. I guess Italians you can, but like my grandfather was Sicilian. I don't know if that matters. 5'5". Check it out, man. My mom's not 5 feet tall. Holy shit, man. Oh, and Mari, yeah, Mari. But I don't want to sound racist, but Japanese tend to be short. So I just would have assumed. I was wrong about the height thing. I feel like a giant now being 5'8". It's usually fat people that gravitate toward. Oh my god. Woo. Oh no, Sam Fisher, you're good, man. You're good. Dude, my brothers, I have 3 older brothers, and they were 5'10" and a half, 6 foot, and 5'11" and a half. So, it's all good. I don't care. Like I've been short my whole life. It's never bothered me. It's not one of those short man syndrome, short man complex things. There are those people I've known, those nasty, nasty, mean short guys that are just miserable to be around because they're always perpetually pissed off and they feel like they have to prove something. And it's like, dude, you gotta cool it, man. You gotta chill. Yeah, 6'3". We know, you drunk vampire. You could probably dress up as Dracula and be pretty imposing. Not gonna lie. Why are you gay? Why are you gay? I'm not gay. I'm just short. If I was gay and short, that'd be 2 disabilities. Come on. The Tall Wise Men. Oh my god. Shadow of the Colossus, another game I've never played, but it looked fantastic. Not gonna lie. Don't feel short because giants exist. Shadow of the Colossus, correct me if I'm wrong, that kind of reminds me of some of the boss battles from Lords of Shadow, because I remember in Lords of Shadow, Castlevania, you actually have some of those like kind of God of War-esque like cutscene battles where you gotta like do the quick time events and all that. It was like, oops, I feel bad for not knowing for 3 years. What are you talking about? Oh, you teach sailing. There was a girl we all thought was a boy, very round, shortish. Oh my god, dude. No. Lixel. Incorrect. Napoleon was not short. I recently found that out. I'm a big fan of Sabaton. And Sabaton, sorry, buddy, he wasn't short. Sabaton, the old historical music and stuff. Yes, that was a lie that the British spread about him to try to humiliate him. He was average height. Now, average height back then was shorter than now, but yes, he was not short. Colossus are totally what they should have done with Divine Beast and Zelda Breath of the Wild. He did bathe every day. What? What does bathing every day have to matter? Like, yeah, sounds like the British, right? Those bloody wankers. Oh man. What time is it, guys? 11:40. That's not too bad. Dude, Sam Fisher, we were all like, you guys, have you ever heard the whole butterfly, is it butterfly effect? No, I'm not sure if it's the butterfly effect. I know that was a movie. The whole cornucopia thing with like Fruit of the Loom, things that we all remembered one way, and it turns out they were completely opposite. Do you love black people? Dude, I need the Jerry Maguire clip. I love black people, show me the money. I love people that are worth loving, so anybody that, isn't an asshole, sure. The Mandela effect, thank you. Yes. I don't love people because of their skin color, I'll tell you that. Near 5'10", yeah. So actually, that's tall for back then. Average height, what was that? I mean, even early 1900s, average height was 5'6" to 5'7". So going before that, that's crazy. Immortals Phoenix Rising? Really? No, dude, honestly, Quillpig, okay. Immortals Phoenix Rising was one of those games, when I saw it release, I'm like, this looks like shit. I don't want to play a Greek mythology game that looks like Fortnite. I mean, honestly, where is the enjoyment of that? And I know there are some people who say, Phoenix Rising was good or whatever. I'm like, no. I saw the release trailer and I saw like the box art for that. I'm like, I'm good. Not sure it was that 5.5. I can do metric or imperial, not both. $4 on eBay for Phoenix Immortals Rising. Do you love men? Um, do I love? Depends on. I'm not gonna answer that question. Uh, Phoenix Rising's worst fault is the millennial humor. Second worst fault is failing to be as Zelda-like. See, Phoenix Rising is surprisingly good. No, man. Don't recommend, but it's not terrible. There's a lot of games that aren't terrible that you could spend your life playing or wasting time on, but then just be like, yeah, it was all right. Senran Kagura, what is that? Heard the console games are going to raise the up. No. So, okay. So, Lugia, actually, I've still got pulled up here. Sony PlayStation is raising their prices, right? By $100 in April. So $50 last year, another $100 this year. So $150 more for a PS5. All right. So the price of a standard PS5 is now going to cost $650. Nintendo, I saw something weird. Apparently, they are. You remember when the Switch 2 came out, and there was a lot of confusion and controversy about the pricing, and they were saying that the digital games were going to be $10 less, but it was basically digital was going to be 70 and physical was going to be 80. Oh, it's a waifu hack and slash. You know, I don't really get into the waifu games, but if they have good gameplay, I'll check it out. Happy to know that Fortnite's mortal and it's failing. Yeah. But, you know, honestly, Sam Fisher, I mean, the crazy thing about that is I've always said, despite the fact that I don't personally enjoy Fortnite, it's a well-made game, and they were very, very good with how they made it. But clearly, even for live service games, if Fortnite can fail, that means any live service game can fail. It's kind of the way I look at it, you know? I'd rate Phoenix just a little below Hogwarts Legacy, which looks good, but it's terrible at every component of gameplay. PS5 Pro for 9Gs. Never gave Valheim a chance that much. So, Smeg, I mean, you didn't know me back then, but what happened with Valheim was it was my computer. I think I still only had 32 gigs of RAM instead of 64. It was my old processor, my old GPU. I hadn't tweaked with the settings, and I'm looking at this game going, I like survival crafting games. This one's less than $20. I think I paid like $18 for Valheim because it was like when it first released. But it didn't run very well. I killed myself with a tree, punching a tree, and it fell on me and I died. And I'm like, this is bullshit. And the game was running really poorly. I've heard from people that know coding. Apparently the coding in Valheim, the code is very poorly written, I guess. It's part of why I guess the game was a sluggish mess at first. I don't know. I have no idea. I'm not a developer. I don't know this shit. So I was like, you know, it's just not for me. And after 45 minutes, I refunded it. I waited like maybe a week and thought about it again. I'm like, I don't want to leave it like that. I'm like, I want to try it again, you know? Do I love fat people? Not because they're fat. I have fat people in my life that I do love, yes. When I was young, I was broke. Buying a $900 console is like, whoa. Dude, I mean, my wife and I talk about this often. We have the means to purchase more than our parents had, but our money is also worth far less. So while back in the 1980s, my parents might not have been able to go out and buy a flat screen TV, they could have taken the money for that flat screen TV and put a down payment on a house. Related to Baked Alaska? Other than in name, I don't even know what Baked Alaska looks like. Okay. Isn't he like a little, like early days, like pre-Gamergate? Baked in California. You remember me talking about it. Yeah, this goes back like 2019, 2020. When did Valheim come out? I think right around 2020. No worries, DB. At some point, I got to hit the hey too. So yeah, Valheim, that was the whole thing where it's like, I decided after about a week to try it again. And then from that point on, I was hooked. I was like, yeah, I was definitely too harsh on that one at first. $8.99, you might as well just... Dude, yeah, exactly. I mean, I know that PC parts are going up, but honestly, if I was between looking at a $2,000 pre-built computer that would last for years or a PlayStation for $1,000, I'd say, okay, it's worth the extra money to get the computer, you know? Debate someone about trans rights? No! I don't do debate streams. Get out of here with that. Sure, dude, I had the tree fall on him. Hey now. My character in Valheim, I'll have you know, was quite tall. Wait a second. I haven't created a character in Valheim in a long time. You can control their height, right? Most games, I try to make my character tall and very, very well built. It's not one of those things where I want to be like, 5'3" in my video game, unless you're playing a dwarf. Releases on Switch 2 this year. Good luck with that. Wait, you bought a decent PC off Best Buy with a 4070 for $500? It was on clearance. Stone Mexican guy, one of the coolest things that you can ever do, and not everybody has Costco memberships, is if you wait for stuff at Costco to go on clearance, they will do that same thing. And their computers, like right now, Costco's got a computer with a 5070 or 5080 in it. And it's like a $2,200 computer. And if you wait for it to go on sale, they'll typically take like $300 or $400 off. But also, like if you wait for those computers to go on clearance, sometimes you'll save like $800. The problem is all the other components. It'll be like the iBuy Power PCs and shit. So you might end up recasing it, putting it in, new wiring and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, you basically stole that. Yo, QC jerks. I mean, Sam, I have seen somebody actually, Meta PCs shared a screenshot of it. Somebody on some forum or whatever, I think it might have been a Reddit thread, went into a store and got a 5070 for like $50 or something. They mismarked it or clearanced it or some shit like that, and they honored the price on it. Absolutely crazy. Let me see. As long as GPU isn't a Zotac, you've done well. Yeah, there are certain brands I will avoid. So my 9060, I wanted to get a Sapphire because that was the last one I had that lasted me so long, and it's still out in a box in the garage. The thing would still work if I plugged it back in. I ended up going with the what do I have? The Steel Legend. I think that's what, the Asus. I can't remember. I think it's the Asus. Wasn't thrilled, but it was one of those things where it's like, all right, well, it's a 16 gig. It's going to last me forever. No big deal, Being bedridden and having a desktop isn't as easy. True. That is a lot more. I mean, laptops are convenient, but honestly, I just despise laptops. Mainly because the fact that they wear out so fast, HP Omen with a 5070 Ryzen 7, 32 gigs of RAM for $1,100 from Best Buy because it was open box about 2 to 3 months ago. Well, and here's the crazy thing. This is what I'm talking about. Like, if you look at the computers that they sell at certain box stores like Costco and all that, and you look at the individual components, if you went to go buy those components yourself off, like Newegg or Amazon, it would cost you more than the pre-built, which didn't used to be the same way, Well, Mari, for me, it's a personal pet peeve. I just don't like laptops. But there are times in my life where it's like, it would be really convenient to have one. It's just, I don't know. Always needing to have it charged and stuff is annoying. I like having everything stationary plugged in. I don't have to mess with it and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, exactly, QC. So it's crazy to me that you can actually buy a pre-built now than it's cheaper to build it yourself. It's a Yayin Tanto. Interesting. I mean, sometimes you can luck out with that kind of stuff. For example, my case that I put my computer in when I rehoused it over Christmas, I went from what is it? Fractal Design $40 case to where this is only like a $70 one that was on clearance on Newegg. And it's some crazy Chinese brand, right? It looks cool, but at the same time, it's very weird in how it's designed. But you know what? I got it for like $70. So, is what it is. Good deal, pre-built last Black Friday. Guys, there were some crazy Black Friday deals. Newegg had some insane deals on GPUs. And even though I'm good on GPUs in my house, my kid's computer might have some problems in the future. He's only got a 4060. I couldn't get anything because all the freaking bots bought everything the minute they were available. It was insane. Just easier to lug to hospitals and stuff. Yeah, exactly. I built out my computer from college grants for practically free, 5950X, 128 gigs. I've only got 64 gigs of DDR4. Damn, dude. Yeah, I need another NVMe. I've only got, I think I've got 1.5 terabytes on SSD and then a 1 terabyte hard drive. I need another couple terabytes. Laptop sits with the lid closed. I use a separate keyboard and mouse with a 35-inch Aorus monitor. Yeah, I finally upgraded from a 24-inch monitor that I had for 5 years to the 27-inch curved monitor this Christmas. That was it. Spoken on Discord before. Not on, I don't think you're on my Discord. Why so racist to Friday? I don't make the rules, man. I just go with it. We can call it Kwanzaa Friday if you want. I don't care. First time getting my PC, and I was always a console, Xbox, PlayStation back in the day. Now I can go back and have so many options. Yeah, and that's the thing, guys. It's not one of those things where I'm like, oh, if you're a console peasant, you don't deserve good. I don't give a crap. You can guys play wherever is convenient for you. Some people prefer to play on their TV. Some people prefer controllers. Some people prefer whatever. I don't care. My only gripe is the fact that people get so damn defensive about their specific plastic box of choice, and then they act like PC people are all the same. It's like, no. My PC is a me brand PC. I built it. Different parts than any other computer. Just put it together and it works, right? Good enough for a peasant like me. i913, I don't know what any of that means, but 64 gigs of RAM, 1 terabyte hard drive, 40. That's not bad. If you're saying that every game is mortal, it could die, why is that Pokemon franchise cannot die? Play on what I want to? Yeah, exactly. Nothing wrong with that.
I declare bankruptcy!
PC Master Race. Suffolk console peasant.
Oh my god. Master Race, yep. Why is that stuck? Well, PC is Master Race. We can do everything. Console peasants are stuck with what they have. See, why is that stuck? See, the way I look at that, that's a matter of if you want to get the most out of your money and experience, then PC is the way to go. If people are okay, spending $400 on a device that only does a set number of things, I don't care. It doesn't have any effect on me at all. That's more my point. That's where it's like, I don't care if somebody wants to buy a PlayStation. Go for it. Have fun with it, Last comment. Creating all characters is like feminists creating hot chick characters. What? What are you talking about? PS5 can't even use a keyboard. Steam Machine's price? God. Okay. Consoles are raising their prices, and Steam doesn't even have a price on their GameCube yet. Easily north of $1,000. Easy. Tall characters. Oh yeah, exactly. Lugia, you don't have to be a tech guy. I'm not a tech guy. I am not a tech guy. Guys, I am functionally retarded. Look, I'm smarter than some. I'm not smarter than geniuses or super smart people. I don't pretend to be like a high IQ person. I just have common sense, and that gets me through a lot of life. So I've had situations when I swapped out my wife's processor, right? I still had to go back and remember, oh crap, I need to have the the BIOS updated before I swap out the processor, put the old there's things, whatever. Fight me IRL. No. So you don't have to be a rocket scientist to build a computer, and these days it's so much easier. The unfortunate thing is, now that it's easier than ever to build a computer, there are so many things that hold your hand now when building a computer compared to 10 years ago. It's crazy how much easier it is. But at the same time, it's more expensive. So you can't fuck up building a PC unless you're working for The Verge. Exactly. People say buy a Steam Deck haven't seemed to notice that it's not possible to even buy a Steam Deck through their online store for over a year. Wait. Are they out of stock? Like, there's no Steam Decks available? Hey, that I learned Mitos and they phased it out. Yeah, that's not even something I know anything about. Windows 98 days were brutal. So many things you can mess up. And see, I didn't start building PCs until 6 years ago. And that was terrifying. When I built my first computer, I was legit terrified. Now I'm just like, if I want to swap something out, I will. Whatever. It's just, yeah. I just follow Henry Cavill in building a PC. Oh, MS-DOS. Yeah. Oh, MS-DOS. My God. Holy crap. That takes me back. Wow. IBM DOS was better. See, we didn't have a Mac when I was a kid. Or was it called a Mac? Yeah, I think it was a Macintosh computer. It was Apple. We had a old school, what do they call it? It was a Gateway, I think was the brand. It was expensive too. It was crazy. And the damn disk drive, nothing worked. It would get illegal operations. Back when we still had dial-up internet, and that thing was expensive. That was crazy. ASL. Oh, I remember the ASL days. Oh my god. Get into a chat room. ASL. Like it really mattered. Like it mattered at all, right? Oh my god, I bricked 98 so many times. Steam Decks haven't been in stock because people have been buying them up from what I heard. Huh. Interesting. I didn't even know that you couldn't get a Steam Deck. That's crazy. Yeah. Huh. Boobs, or get the fuck out. I don't have boobs. Thank you very much. Even if I did, I wouldn't flash them. All right. I'm going to hit the hay, guys, because it's just late enough that I might be able to read a chapter before bed. And I didn't get much time to read last night because my daughter's game went so late. Take your shirt off. You take your shirt off. Take it off. Hey, if I was in more acceptable shape, I would flex my little pecs, but not happening right now. All right, you're naked. Good. Stay naked. Have fun with that. Hopefully, you can profit from that. There are those that can actually turn that to their advantage and make a buck off of it. Chapter of Milking Farm. No, man, I'm on book 5. I can't keep track of what number book it is of The Witcher. Tower of Swallows. If DB Wild was still here, he'd say something about that. Oh, cool. We'll reroute over to Empress's stream then. No worries. RTU. RTU has about 200 pounds on me, dude. All right. If I'm in shape, my chest is typically bigger than my stomach. All right. If I had a lot of sugar that day, I might be a little bloated. That's about the extent of it. RTU, I could never get on that level. Not happening. Like, ever. Like, not even close. That's just disgusting. I just can't. I can't do that. Guys, I'll have a tank top in the summer when it's hot outside and it's not, I don't want to run the AC in here. You guys can see all my little tiny body with my tattoos all over it. Just not right now. Not happening. There we go. All right, Empress, it's set up. All right, guys. So I'm going to dip. I got to get out of here, get some sleep. Cat scratching at the door. Don't torture you with it. No, I won't. I don't have a midriff, but I have tank tops in the summer. Cosplaying different characters or reach certain tiers, so taking things off and putting them on. Giggity. All right. Well, I'm not going to do that because no one wants to see that on me. But if I was a woman and attractive, that'd be a whole different story. All right, guys. Later. Some of you will probably go join Empress, and I am going to go to sleep. Have a good night, everyone. I will catch you back again on Monday. I've got shit all weekend, so I won't see you guys until then. Take it easy.